Good morning, gearheads. It's Sunday, it's Father's Day, and we hope you're gathered with the whole family around the radio dial to listen to the Blind Mike Project. Go to blindmike.net for all your Blind Mike needs, and we know you need it. On today's show, Marc Maron returns to trashing the Rogan crew. Nate Bargatze gets dragged by his fans. Big Jay Oakerson gets called out. Joe Matarese realizes he may never move to Philly, and so much more. And now, here's your host, a father to us all, Blind Mike Geary.
Members know we're fibbing a little bit. That's Sunday.
And I was expecting a countdown. It just kind of started.
It's not Sunday, but it is to all of you, or some of you, unless you're a member. So we are live for members on Saturday because Craig very arrogantly reached out to me this week and was like, he's like, Mike, you got to think of my kids. I don't want to deprive them of 3 hours to celebrate me. He said they need just these. I don't want it, but these kids need every minute to be like, how great is dad? You can't ask them to start that at 1. They got to start at 10 a.m. Damn it!
There's gonna be a lot of shoulder pats in my life, you know. Like
it's a big day. So guys, celebrate. Get out there and celebrate Craig. Even say to your dad, say like, you were okay, Dad. You seen very good chow.
You can't cook for me.
You don't make tiramisu like that.
No. My daughter, because what I'll do is like if I'll upload it and then I'll kind of just make sure it's how I want it. And
we're getting a peek behind the curtain. This is fun.
No, but I got to get it on video because my daughter is singing the song now.
It's a good song.
And she's singing the song and asking me to watch Very Good Chow by name, which is, I'm like, no, but
too raunchy. You couldn't handle it, you snowflake.
Well, I bleeped the swears and she happened to hear one.
Yeah.
And she just goes, oops. And I go, yeah, you can't watch the rest of this.
My the warthog texted me and said, if you don't like it, ask my bleeping wife.
I'm kind of stuck on that now.
Oh no, I think it's good. I think it's it's gonna catch fire one of these days. So go check out Very Good Show. Which does lead me to something that's been on my mind. Just fess up. What's Casey getting out of this?
Nothing. What did you do now?
He promotes it way like it's his baby.
I thought he like had a gun to your head.
No, I think he's doing like a press junket promoting Very Good Chow.
Hit send now.
Yeah. You weren't here when I think I said it to Casey, but so now he just slips it to me. I get a DM and he's like, Very Good Show's up if you want to hit the old share button there. He just very casually like, it's time for you to retweet.
That's very funny.
Yeah. But no, I put my full endorsement behind Very Good Show. And this will come back to bite me when the inevitable shoe drops on Craig. But for now, we support Very Good Show.
What shoe?
Huh?
What shoe?
Well, that's for the future to decide. News could have broken by the time this is out tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, and one other thing I wanted to mention. I thought about talking about it today, but I guess it wouldn't be fair to my co-host Carl. I feel like we should talk about it on Sunday. But Doom is upset with me.
I saw that.
He had some tweets about Dabbleverse Live, and I gotta say, I don't think he was that far off. But there's some points I would argue. I think he was very fair in his criticism. And there's some things I even agree with and that I've been thinking about for a while, and that I even mentioned to Carl a couple of weeks ago. So I figured that'd be a good topic. I was going to talk about it today, but then I was like, well, it's a Dabbleverse Live topic. If nothing else, at least do that for Doom. Don't spoil that on this show. Save it for Dabbleverse Live. So if you're interested in that.
His criticisms are correct. Carl won't talk about it.
Well, that's why I'm mentioning it now. I wanted to know I've been silenced if it doesn't come up. No, but Doom, if you're watching, I don't. We're not too far off base, so hopefully we can come to some kind of conclusion on Thursday. We will address that. I hope. I'm going to try.
I saw Doom and I saw the tweet and it was long and I was like, oh boy, let me see. I actually sat to like read it. And pay attention.
And I saw people, a lot of people agreed with him, but a lot of people were like, hey, you don't know what who are you to criticize? And he's like, well, I watch them all the time. I can make a point. And I was like, yeah, that's very fair. He's just an observer of the show like we are to so many other shows. So I figured I should give him a proper response on Thursday. So we'll get to that. So go check out Dabbleverse Live on Carl's channel on Thursday, I think. But for, enough of that. Focus on this channel, for goodness sake. BlindMike.net is where you can find all the links for this program, for Why Are You Laughing? All our videos available on Spotify now as well. If you're a Spotify user, check out video and audio of the Blind Mike Project and Why Are You Laughing on Spotify and wherever else you get podcasts. Also, we're live every Sunday at 10 a.m. If you didn't know that, we're sort of live now, right? It's premiering.
This is live. There's a chat, but this was recorded yesterday. It's
live light on YouTube right now.
If you're watching this on Saturday, we're live.
Mm-hmm. So go check that out. BlindMike.net is where you can find all those links. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. It helps more people find the show. We appreciate you guys doing that. If you want to become a member to get episodes like this early access as well as bonus content, you can check out the Intern David episode we did of Why Are You Laughing? About Intern David from the Opie and Anthony show. You can check out BTH every Monday at 10 p.m. No, what time is it? 8 p.m. Eastern time. Every Monday at 8 is what I meant to say. So go check that out if you're a member on Patreon or YouTube. And check out Very Good Chow, like I mentioned. Yeah. Tiramisu on the stove this week.
That's right. It's a good one. I like tiramisu. It's very easy. It just takes a long time.
I'd like to know if people are trying Craig's recipes. I would like some feedback. Is Craig decent at this?
Someone at Laconia came up to me and said they tried the French onion soup. And I don't know if I believed them, but
I do. He passed away yesterday
from eating it.
Yeah. So I believe him. He was battling an illness for the last week or two. But yeah, check out Very Good Chow and let me know. Let me know how many manjas you give Craig's rating.
Yeah, in the comment section now is
or how many middle fingers.
By the way, I don't know how this happened, but I noticed that if you like the video on my channel now, it turns into a knife and a fork.
Really?
I did not do that, so I don't know.
Does Casey have access to?
No, he doesn't.
Casey Day job.
That was my first thought. I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice. And I was like, wait a minute, he doesn't have access.
Bon appetit.
Yeah,
it's a knife and fork.
Yeah.
Well, guys, go if nothing else, to see that cute little.
Yeah. It sounds like one of those Twitter farm things. People are like, oh, if you hit this
on Craig's channel, I assume it's a pitchfork, but
it's a pitchfork. But subscribe. All I say is just subscribe. Even if you don't watch, just subscribe, please.
That's the spirit. I say watch, but yeah, verygoodshow.org. You can find that. And I posted the episode this week in our posts tab, so go check that out if it's easier for you.
Ooh.
All right, should we get into some business here? Some serious business?
Absolutely.
Well, Marc Maron's at it again. Back to his old. I think we might have nailed the date, by the way. Go check. We talked about Joe Rogan saying, hey, I talked to Marc Maron. Water under the bridge. We're buddies again.
Yeah.
And we might have nailed the amount of time it took for Maron to go right. A lot of people think Rogan was lying or misunderstood the conversation he had with Maron. I think there's a chance of that to a degree. Mm-hmm. But I think Maron's also one of these guys. And we've heard it. Even the best example is his episode with Joe Rogan. We broke down Joe Rogan's appearance on WTF in 2011. And a lot of his criticisms of Joe were the same. The focus of the argument was different in that they were talking about fear factor and how that's ruining comedy and entertainment and it's selling out and all that. But the idea, if you just replace fear factor with, the Republicans, then it's essentially the same argument that they're having. And Maron walked away from that interview going, I may have misjudged Rogan. At the end of the day, he's a good guy, and we hashed it out. We're not so different, he and I. And then Maron just went right back to doing exactly what he does. So this is a very frustrating thing with Maron. The reason I want to talk about it today, I know we've talked about it a lot in the past, but I'm starting to get fed up with some of the things that Maron has brought up. And I think our next subject completely disproves them. So that's the main reason I wanted to address this today. So Maron was out promoting his movie, which sounds like a good idea. The premise I like a lot, In Memoriam, but he's out promoting that at the Tribeca Film Festival. And this obviously it's going to come up if you're interviewing Marc Maron. Of course, Austin and Joe Rogan have to come up.
One of the groups you in your latest HBO special Panic, you criticized with the Manosphere. Full podcasts are full of this.
Yeah.
And one notable line was, if Hitler were alive today, he'd probably appear on Theo Von's podcast.
By the way, and I'll say, like, that's funny.
That is funny.
Like, in the context of Maron's comedy special, that's a funny bit. That's not what I have a problem with. Continue.
Oh, sorry. I was like, can't wait to hear what your problem is.
I'll tell you right after these words from Marc Maron.
Probably have a podcast. Anyway,
true.
Talk about what's happening here.
Well, look, like I had to really deliberate or delegate, or what's the word I want? I had to think about that bit, because I know these guys. I've known them my whole life. I knew them before there was a Manosphere.
Right.
I knew them as comics. I knew Rogan when he started in Boston. I've known these guys. We are somewhat of a weird tribe and a community. So like it gets to a point
I'm
where
gonna burn it all down.
my politics are what they are. I'm team left. I'm not going to make all the games.
Right.
But I'm team left. Going downtown to fight I'm like, not today. I can't get but fight. Good luck with it. And I'll keep following you on the reels. So, but I've always been that way.
Yeah.
That's always been
my problems have started. The idea of team, and Maron's being a little facetious and sarcastic, but the idea of team left, I think a lot of those guys, I think Tony would say I'm team right, but I think he's really the only one. Like if you're looking at Schultz and Theo and Rogan, I don't think they'd identify themselves that way. And a lot of people would say that's because they're pussies. They're cowards.
What happened to goddamn Team America?
They're afraid. You're damn right, buddy. They're afraid to say their team right. They're too big of pussies. And no, you can have nuance to things. It doesn't have to be black and white. And again, when I say nuance, I'm not saying that means Schultz and Rogan and Theo are smarter than anyone. I'm not even saying it means they're smart at all. They could be dumb guys and have nuanced thought to things that aren't just so black and white. So the idea of team left and team right is where Maron starts to get into an issue.
Politics, and I believe in liberal democracy. I believe in it. So, but like with the Theo Von thing, I that's a joke, and it's a good joke.
Yeah.
To do Theo interviewing Hitler is hilarious.
Right.
And I eventually got to a place with that joke. I'm like,
I think it's a funny joke, and so far I don't have an issue with this.
No, I agree. I agree with him so far.
How could Theo get mad at me for this?
Right.
It's funny.
Right.
But they're sensitive, those
Did they
fellas.
get mad at you?
Well, Joe said he got mad at me. I don't know.
Yeah, you got
I think they get hurt,
They're very delicate flowers.
They are.
I don't think what he's realizing is what their perceived friend is attacking them and they don't like it. And he's like, they're fucking pussies.
Yeah, it's not. Well, and here's where Joe fucked up is he did criticize the Theo joke. And he's like, Theo's in a really dark place now. And like, he can't handle jokes like that. That's where Rogan fucked. That's just not true. I'm sure Theo was fine with it. It wasn't that. If Theo was being sensitive to it, that's Theo's problem.
Yeah, and I think Rogan should just lay off talking about Theo Von for like a few months.
I know, right? But the issue is not the joke. That's where Rogan did fuck up, is making that joke an issue. If Theo has a problem with it, he's being overly sensitive. That Maron's joke was not over the line. It wasn't some out of bounds thing. I don't think Maron reduces people's problems with him until he finally is called out on his podcast, which doesn't exist anymore. But he reduces people's problems with him into what he perceives them as. So he's going to boil this down to, oh, they were all mad at my hilarious joke on my HBO special. No, they're it seems to be annoyed that you go on every podcast and make them the focus of your self-promotion.
Right.
And that you keep saying that they are the fundamental problem with. Now listen to the rest of what Maron says about them. Is it a joke? Is it a funny throwaway thing in the special? Or is it a real thing where Maron is making them the center of a societal issue and the cause for it?
A little bit.
Yeah, maybe
They are. I don't know why that
Most
is.
billionaires are like that.
Huh?
I get so many calls like, you're so mean to me. And I go buy France. Go fuck yourself. You know?
Mike, she says they should go buy a country with their billions.
Yeah, well, she's not. She doesn't do Maron any favors here. But
No.
she tries to get on his level comedically.
Now I hate him for having this lady interview him. Oh God.
My issue was, and I think that many of them, look, I don't want to be diplomatic about this, you know.
Please don't.
And I've talked about this a lot. I
You
talked about it
anti-woke
in the special, and I
hack.
talked about it when I was promoting the special.
Right.
My problem with those guys, is that they were sucking up to fascists and they were promoting the end of liberal democracy and the
Okay,
beginning.
this is where a second ago when he's like, I was just joking about Theo Vaughn. What are they so mad about? This is more the part. This is more the part they take an issue with, and sucking up to fascists. This is an interesting. This is where Maron starts to make points I can wrap my head around and even at times agree with, but then he drifts so far away. Like Stavros made a joke recently. He had Joe List on, and they were joking about how all these guys have Schultz and Rogan, like they obsess over the Epstein files. That was like a focus of their podcast for years. They would talk about it a lot. And then they have Trump on and it doesn't come up. And like that is an issue. But I would say that I think if those guys had Kamala on, same thing, or Joe Biden, I think those things would Schultz is different. I was a little disappointed Schultz didn't bring that stuff up, but Rogan has these polite conversations with people where he just kind of picks at what's unfortunately too often what's on his brain, but sometimes what's on their brain.
Yeah, him and Trump are just talking about how strong chimpanzees are.
Right. And to say like, oh, Rogan gave Trump a softball interview, kind of, but that's what he does to everybody. It's what he would have done to Kamala. And this is what people like Maron ignore that has really started to frustrate me. And there's a lot of what Maron says that has been grinding at me and annoying me. But part of it is they say, oh, they promoted fascism by having Trump on. Well, I don't believe that anyone that listens to Rogan or watches clip, and the same with Schultz, Theo, any of these guys, there was no one who was going to vote for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris that listened to Trump on Rogan and said, nope, never mind, changed my mind, I'm voting for the Trumpster. I don't think there are any undecided voters that listen to that podcast.
The only thing, there was about 250,000 people that changed their minds after Tony Hinchcliffe's Puerto Rico joke.
Yes, yeah, Tony changed a lot of minds. No, but that goes into my point where I don't think Rogan's podcast or Schultz's podcast or Theo's podcast influenced votes. I think what influenced a lot of votes is they all tried to get Kamala on also, and it was a fucking headache. And it gave the appearance that she couldn't just have a conversation, that she was afraid of what they would ask her because she wouldn't be able to answer it.
Well, she said that also for Rogan, that he had to come to her and it was only an hour.
That's what I'm saying. They made it so difficult that it was as if they didn't want to have the conversation. Whereas Trump was like, yeah, whatever. Ask me whatever you want. To my knowledge, Trump didn't have any ground rules of you can't ask me about Epstein Island or anything like that. It's their fault for not asking him about that. But that's not on Trump. And so that attitude is what lost Democrats the election. The idea that you're treating people like they are evil monsters that shouldn't even be spoken to. That it's, oh, these people went on Joe Rogan, now they're evil. And if you don't believe that exists, wait till our next segment. But because anyone that associates with them, they deem Nazis, white supremacists, evil villains, or redneck retarded idiots. It all goes back to the basket of deplorables thing. They never learned from that, and they brush off people as these redneck retards that shouldn't be dealt with, or villainous, and they haven't picked one, by the way. It's their villainous evil geniuses or dumb hicks. They haven't picked one lane for them to be. Somehow they're both. And it's that attitude that lost in the election, and they don't really acknowledge that, which is weird for Maron, because Maron has, I think, a very funny joke. Maron's a funny guy, by the way. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, Maron has never been funny, whatever. Maron's a funny comedian. And he has another funny joke in that special where he says, I forget if he says liberals of the left or whatever. He goes, we have a PR problem. Somehow we've annoyed America into fascism, which I think is a very funny idea. So like seeing that it's, and by the way, I feel the same way about Trump going on Jimmy Fallon and Saturday Night Live years ago, where they're like, they humanized him. Jimmy Fallon humanized Donald Trump. He's a human.
No.
He's a human that went on the show. You can say whatever else you want about him, but they didn't humanize him. The fact that he exists on the planet humanized him.
Honestly, Fallon rubbing Trump's hair was probably the last time you'll see, like, I don't know what to call it other than like cross promotion like that.
Right. And again, like, that is one thing you have to give the right is Rogan and Theo and Andrew also interviewed Bernie Sanders. They have left-leaning comedians on all the time. They have they're willing to talk to the left, and the right doesn't melt down. You traitors! Now, the right has their problems also, where they get hypocritical with some of that stuff. But stuff like that, they haven't drawn the line in the sand of like, how could you do? You're interviewing Bernie Sanders, you monster, you socialist piece of shit. They're not crying in the streets because you associated with someone they don't like. That is the problem, is that Marc Maron is fueling this idea that even just socializing with these people or sitting down to do a podcast with them is the problem. I would say to Maron, doing their podcast could solve the problem. If you disagree with all these guys, you're a very smart guy. You're probably more equipped to have some of these debates than they are. You've been doing it a lot longer. And again, this idea like, oh, comedians shouldn't be talking about this stuff. Well, we're watching the host of Air America here.
Yeah.
We're watching a guy who wanted to be a liberal commentator / comedian.
Long story short, is acting like this pretty gay.
You've really taken me out at the knees for my big point here, but sure. Let's continue.
And to me, that was plain and clear to see.
Mm-hmm.
So my issue with them was because of that. It was political, and it was like they were bootlickers and they were pawns. But I also think they were suckers, and I also think that some of them are grifters. Is that, some of these guys.
Well, which is it? Is it a calculated, methodical, political move, or are they morons that don't see they're being used? That's the pick one. Because I'm open to either. Pick one and run with that. But it's the problem with Trump, and it trickles all the way down, where they'll say Trump is this mindless idiot. He's a bumbling fool who can't get out of his own way. And how don't these people see that? Also, he's an evil genius, and everything he's done is completely calculated. Well, it's one or the other. Pick one and run with that. And I got to tell you, bumbling fool is a lot better to get your point across. That's what happened with Bush, is they made Bush into like a caricature, like, this goofy idiot, and the country fell out of love with him. They agreed. They're like, this guy's a moron.
I think it was the Iraq war, but yes.
Well, sir, but I'm saying comedically.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying SNL didn't get on and weep about the war crimes of George Bush. That's my point.
Al Gore.
I'm not talking about politically, you can have those arguments, but I'm saying comedians, doing this over the top argument. It has not, and I always go back to Shane's Trump impression. People call Shane a Trump supporter, and I'm sure Maron lumps him into with these Trump bootlickers. Shane is the only impression that actually goofs on Trump in a way that would make people maybe respect him less.
Yeah, I know.
Like people that are in the middle are like, oh yeah, he is kind of an idiot in that way.
Well, if you saw, I don't know if you saw TMZ after. That's. I mean, we can get to this later. Huh?
Couple brewskis is what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but they asked him about the Michelle Obama comment, and he's like, "I didn't love that."
Yeah,
and I don't.
But here's the problem, Craig. The people that have their heels dug in, he's lying. He's lying to save face. He did love it. Why didn't he speak up? And let's save that for Nate because there's points on that I want to make with Nate too. But
yeah, all right.
Mm-hmm. And the audiences they built. Even before I made these comments, like, would I ever go on Joe's show? Because he's sort of a star maker, or Tony's show. It's like, no, I wouldn't, because what am I going to do with that audience?
That's your mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That is the mistake that he is making. What are you going to do with that audience? I don't know, Mark. It's 11 million fucking people. Do you think they all think exactly the same?
Talk to him, Mark.
Or do a lot of them at this point go watch Too Lazy to Try? Do some people watch Rogan so they can be like, you're not going to believe what this idiot said this week?
Right.
There are people that watch and listen to Rogan that think he's a moron, that are dying for someone like you to go on and own him. I think the reason people don't respect this argument from people like Mark is because they come off as scared. It's the same as Kamala not going on these shows. And it's I always think about just with Kirk's show. I remember where he was more into some of these political topics when the show started.
Yeah.
And he would always say, like, oh, Steve, get this guy on. Get this guy that wrote a hit piece on Barstool. Get him on. Or get a guy that we don't agree with politically. See if he'll come on the show. And they would always respond to Steve, varying degrees. Some would be like, why would I do that show? Why would I do a Barstool show or something like that?
Right.
And some would be more polite. But it was always like, why would I do that? Well, because that's what debate is. And this constant idea of and this happens with everyone. Anytime you see arguments online now, and a lot of it's social media, it's the nature of social media. Maybe I'm putting too much. I want to believe that I'm putting too much on it and that it's just, restricted to social media and it dies there. But it fuels like politics now. Like this idea wins elections and loses elections. So it's a bigger idea than social media, I believe. This idea that everyone, it's black and white. Everyone is good or evil. Everyone is a genius or a moron. It's these extremes that we speak in now, and there's never any middle ground. And what they are desperately avoiding, particularly people like Maron, what he is avoiding when he says, I won't do Joe's podcast. And by the way, Tony's podcast, first of all, you'd have to suffer through doing a podcast with trans people, Jewish people, black people, disabled people, women, gay people. It would be a lineup of very diverse goblins that lurk on the streets of Austin.
Yeah.
Homeless people get on that show. So it's not oddly, I think Tony has made himself the most slanted politically, but has the least political show in a weird way. Yeah. I mean, he makes jokes and there's things he says that are political, of course. But I'm saying if you go on that show, you're not going to be locked in some political debate. So remove Tony from this entirely. Let me bring Tony back in. I moved him. I'm bringing him back in for a second. That's the other part of that, the stuff I was talking about with like Kamala Harris. I don't think Tony performing at that Trump rally at Madison Square Garden made a single person vote for Donald Trump. I don't think he convinced anybody. I know Tony thinks he convinced roughly 200,000 people, but I don't think that was the case. I do think if anyone's opinion was swayed that day, it was by the reaction of, he's a Nazi. Get him quick. There's a Nazi at MSG. That reaction might have convinced some people because it's not a way to treat people when it's half the fucking country. They don't. And by the way, people on this channel call me a big fucking lib all the time.
Hey,
And now I'm going to get it the other way, where it's like, oh, you're just an alt-right MAGA piece of shit.
no,
and
according to Marc Maron, you're now a grifter.
I'm a grifter as well. Yes, I'm making a lot of money off of this rant. But that is my issue: is that you paint these people like they are good or evil. And I said this the other day with something we were talking about. A woke dad clip where he's like, why do these poor people vote for Donald Trump? And they just write them off as like idiots.
Mhm.
And I said to Carl, I go, no, actually, like, why? Why are they doing that? Have you, for a second in the last 11 years, said, yeah, why are these people supporting Donald Trump? Or have you just written them off as pieces of shit that don't deserve to be talked to? And you know, listen, if you don't respect Rogan and don't want to have the debate with him, find a right winger you do respect. There's got to be one. And if there isn't, ask yourself that. Say half the fucking voting population wants this guy to be president. Why?
No shit. Half the country is that is exactly the issue that the left runs into all the time. Because I know, you know, I'm a hardcore right-wing guy here, but like a lot of the stuff I really don't give a fuck about.
A lot of people that voted for Trump don't even like him. They're just like, I thought Kamala would be worse.
Yeah, and she would have been. But that's neither here nor there. But you can't paint everyone with such a broad brush, because if you talk to any, you know, normal people that you see on the street, as they like to say,
yes,
they're kind of like, everyone's kind of in the middle.
That's the issue. Yeah. And when I was at a bachelor party a couple weeks ago, and there was an extreme Trump supporter there and an extreme liberal there. And they got into it. Like, they were talking politics for a while, and no one died. It was fine. They had beers together and went to a strip club after. It wasn't that big a deal.
Man, I mean, the fact that politics wrecks families at this point is fucking crazy.
It's silly. And that's the thing where people say, like, oh, it's all fueled by the media. They just want to distract us with these arguments. Well, I think there's truth to that for sure. I think they know exactly what they're doing, making us have these arguments, and I'm even falling into that trap. But my issue with it is guys like Marc Maron, who I don't believe are compromised in that way, stoking the flames of that, fueling this good versus evil logic that the country has. That is the problem. And whichever side you think is evil, I think you're wrong. Go ahead.
A big problem also is the media, because if you look, even with the World Cup right now, like, there's an Australian guy who comes around and he's like, yeah, you know, this is my first time in the States, and I thought there was going to be blue hair everywhere and like all this stuff, and he's like, it's quite awesome.
Yeah. And I'm sure there are other people that thought there would be, you know, Nazi protests and
yeah, exactly, and it's just not that.
Right.
But don't worry, he stops. We're going to move on to talking politics now.
Oh, good. Well, those guys, and this is the other problem, is like, you know, Marc Maron believes, like, hey, these guys are comedians. They're uninformed on politics. They shouldn't be talking seriously about politics on a podcast. And I have heard Anthony Jeselnik do this, and Patton Oswalt, and Marc Maron, and Sarah Silverman. And where do they go to voice that opinion? But a podcast. Go ahead, Mark. Take it away.
But really, and it does seem that the tide is turning. You know, like, you know, Dylan and Schultz and Rogan have become.
Hold on. To lump Dylan into that crew is egregious to me.
He should be like the only one that they really can't talk about. He's gay as fuck.
He's terribly riddled with gay.
Yeah, like,
but not only that, his podcast is funny. He does stick to comedy.
Mm-hmm. And
he is not this slanted guy one way or the other. I think to lump Dylan, Dylan interviewed J.D. Vance and RFK. So I guess that's why he's throwing him in there.
a lib and a right winger. That's crazy that he did both.
No, RFK is bad now. He's on the evil side.
Yeah, that's right. We will get to that.
But to lump Tim Dillon into that group, I think Tim Dillon it's a hilarious podcast. To call that serious, and he does get in his interviews, he gets more serious. But I just don't think he's the same. So I already think he's done Tim a disservice. But let's go for the ride.
Right, but you know what that means, though.
It's over,
is that,
and they need to get back.
Well, right. I maybe they don't know where it's dragging them, but I think really that a lot of these guys and people in general, they don't have a worldview. Mm-hmm. They're reacting. Like I don't think they think it through.
Right.
Do you know, like a couple of guys got mad at me for the Riyadh joke. Mm-hmm. And these are jokes I'm doing. Everything on that special was a joke. And all this stuff that was promoting the special.
No, take Schultz out of it because Schultz went. No one else got mad at the Riyadh joke. They all agreed with you.
Yes.
Rogan, the guys that turned down Riyadh, Shane and Tony, I'm sure they were fine with that. Okay. So now you're talking about liberals. You know, Mark said he was team left. Well, who went to Riyadh? Louis C.K., Whitney Cummings, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Aziz Ansari. I mean, it's a list of liberals and Andrew Schultz.
Well, Louis might be moving back towards the right after
I don't think. I don't think
politically so hard in the kidneys with a 10-inch blade.
I don't think politically he is, but
he's definitely not speaking on it anymore. That's for damn sure. But that's the other thing too. Is it's like he talks about all these jokes, but he gets so fucking serious, and he always says, you know, you shouldn't take your political advice from Joe Rogan. He's just a comic who did Fear Factor. What are you, Mark?
But I agree.
I agree too.
They give this such weight. Joe Rogan interviewed Donald Trump. Well, fucking what? Bill Clinton was humanized by playing saxophone on Arsenio Hall. Do people blame Arsenio for Epstein Island?
There was a poster of fucking Clinton in Monica Lewinsky's dress on Epstein Island, and he gets less shit than half of these.
They've like liberal politicians have also done SNL. Like it's all the same. It's been that way for years. Fucking Bush Sr. and I don't know, Hillary Clinton have both been on Saturday Night Live. Like,
you know what it is they think everyone is like Kanye West is the only person that's done everything they say, like going out with like a bedazzled swastika necklace.
Right.
He's the only one that's done it.
And even he's doing it to be inflammatory. But
right.
but there are, so here's my other problem with Maron. He's picking weaker targets that don't really believe in what he's accusing them of. You know, like Schultz and Rogan and Theo, and maybe you can argue that it's dumb, but they are more malleable in their beliefs. They can be swayed in different directions. I'd like to see Maron go after Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
But he never, a guy who really is, you know, anti-Semitic, like saying, and if he's not, then he's purposely trying to be on the internet. You know, like he's trying to get that reaction that I'm this inflammatory guy. The type of people that Maron is talking about exist out there and have podcasts that influence people. But Maron doesn't go after them. He goes after comedians that have these conversations and say, like, if Joe, you want to call it grifting. If Joe Rogan had a wall of degrees behind him and said, you know, I went to med school. I did drop out to pursue comedy, but I did do a few years of med school, so I have some background in this. If he was portraying himself as anything other than he was, then I would say, yes, he's a grifter. Joe Rogan says, I'm a pothead comedian that commentates on MMA and I hosted Fear Factor. I'm an idiot. Now, does he think he's smarter than he is? Sure. A lot of people do. That's not a crime. That's the ego that it takes to be successful in the entertainment business. That happens to a lot of celebrities. But he bills himself as a stoner moron who was a kickboxing coach in fucking Newton, Massachusetts. He doesn't pretend to have degrees or expertise on these things. He says he's well read. Is he as well read as he claims to be? I don't know. But he says he reads on these things, and he has conversations with people who are experts in a lot of these fields, who are scientists or professors and blah, blah, blah. That's the other part, by the way, that people never really acknowledge. They don't argue the people that are sitting there on Rogan's podcast going, good point. All these people that have an issue with Rogan go on and make him look like a fucking idiot, but no one ever does. I told you, Stavros was making jokes about. Stavros can go on Rogan and call him out for it, but he doesn't do that because it might hurt his career. Renan Hirschberg is a comedian that has jokes about what a piece of shit Joe Rogan is and how he's. I think Renan would agree with a lot of stuff that Maron is saying. Renan went on Rogan and sat there and watched Rogan pull up Wikipedia and nodded to all of Joe's points and said nothing. When Maron says, what would I do for that audience? That's the problem, Mark. You think that everyone that listens to these shows is a fucking moron. So, and by the way, this is another example of what I'm saying, where it's good versus evil. People are going to say, oh, Mike, you're a Rogan ball washer. You're a Rogan stan. I don't remember the last episode I listened to of the fucking guy. I listened when Damon and Affleck were on, and I thought it was really interesting to hear them talk about movies. Yeah. And then Rogan interrupted with UFC shit. Yeah. And I was annoyed at him.
Yep.
I thought Tony's special was a crime against comedy. Tony Hinchcliffe's special was an abomination. That doesn't mean he's evil. Like, if they want to call you, Marc Maron should stick to calling these guys hacks, and he touches on it. And if you want to say that, go ahead. And I would agree with you on Tony's special. It was dog shit.
It was that bad?
It was really embarrassing. I was embarrassed.
Oh, no.
For how bad it was. And like I said, I don't even know that it was mockably bad. I've seen channels do it. But like, there's an art to what Brendan Schaub did with Gringo Poppy.
There really is.
Where you're like, wow, this is uniquely horrible. Like in a really unique and interesting way that causes you to have to watch it. Tony was just unprepared and lazy. And did, which I didn't think he was lazy. But he just did crowd work. He took forever to get to premises that have been done over and over again. So if you want to just come out and call these guys hacks, I'm with you, Mark. Go for it. But now Mark is bringing it to a grander scale and doesn't say like, they're just hack comedians. Because if you believe they were just hack comedians, then you'd have to admit that they aren't as influential as you're pretending they are. They have big podcasts. That doesn't mean they're changing minds. What changes minds is exactly this. Is Maron going on shows and going, you got to stop supporting these guys. And then people go, oh, I haven't really checked it out, but I guess I should support these guys if he's telling me I can't.
I wish if Brendan Schaub wanted to make a big money grab, he's got to come out with Gringo Poppy dose.
Gringo Poppy. Oh, dear. He was going to say 2, but you do got to call it dose.
that would be unbelievable.
Just like with a John Wick type of trailer.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm back.
I would love that so much.
Taking them to task a bit was, it was done in the spirit of comedy, but these are jokes.
Right.
But they have some teeth to them, and they're not their teeth, right? I just got to the point where it's like, if, lefties or comics that are progressive, it's difficult to talk about politics, and it's difficult to talk about
because your points don't have any weight behind them, Mark. That's why it's difficult.
No, but what he's saying is he's talking about guys like people say like, oh, Dave Smith is they're empty political talking points or whatever. Like that's what people accuse Dave and Rogan.
A lot of them are, but that's everybody.
And that's what he means. But we get into this argument now where it's like, Dave Smith is no expert. What qualifies him to talk about the war? Nothing. You don't have to listen to him.
It was what's that guy on Rogan who's like, you ever been to a war zone?
Oh, Douglas Murray. Yes. Yeah, nothing qualifies him to talk about the war or COVID vaccines or the election. They are not qualified. They don't have a degree or a certificate that says they are allowed to talk about this stuff. The fact of the matter is, they are allowed to talk about it. And they are as qualified as fucking Rush Limbaugh was 30 years ago. Like, it's talk radio. They are, what happened was back in the day, people used to say, oh, Rush Limbaugh is a blowhard. Fuck him. And they wouldn't listen. Now, they make it their entire existence is talking about these, quote, blowhards. Don't listen to them. It's not that big a deal. I'm sure Rush Limbaugh influenced elections. Doesn't mean he was right about everything. Doesn't mean he was well researched on every topic. I'm sure some he was, and others he wasn't. He was a talk radio guy, and that's what all of these guys are. You are giving that, you're providing them the gravitas of what makes them qualified. Nothing. Dave Smith was a homeless comedian who was friends with Louis J. Gomez, who was just interested in politics. And over time, he found people that find him interesting. Are those people idiots? I haven't tested them. Maybe they're all idiots. Maybe some of them are idiots, and some of them are moderately smart. Maybe a lot of them are smart. I don't know. What does it matter? They're listening to it for entertainment. The problem is Marc Maron wants to bitch about this stuff and make it seem like he's helping change things. But the fact of the matter is they're too lazy and don't know how to actually make change. So they settle for just being like, I did a thing about how Rogan's a Nazi. That's good enough.
Left-leaning politics without seeming strident and annoying, and so and those two things are not great for funny.
I agree with him there, and I think Maron does get that, and I think to a degree even he gets maybe he's being exhausting, which makes it so vexing that he keeps doing it.
Yeah, because I almost thought that's why he stopped his show, because he was like, I'm exhausting people.
I think the last guest should have been Rogan.
Should have been.
Like the whole premise of Marc Maron's show was I've been an asshole. And by the way, I went back and listened recently. I thought about doing a WTF episode, so I listened to a couple episodes recently. And I went back and listened to his episode with Patrice. And Patrice calls himself a misogynist and talks about his misogynist beliefs and talks about women in a way that you can tell Maron doesn't agree with. But Maron was open to the discussion. And you could tell Patrice made some points that Maron did agree with. And it was an interesting conversation. And there was a little bit of pushback from Maron, but ultimately he's like, I get what you're saying. The problem is, starting in 2016, or even before that, but like that's when it really got crazy. You weren't allowed to do that anymore. Like, you weren't allowed to talk with someone you disagreed with because it would be some scarlet letter on you.
You can't really claim to not be a misogynist and then allow, men to podium in your women's sports.
What? I'm having trouble finding the analogy. I don't think Maron allowed any of that, but I get what you're saying.
His team that he talks about.
His team, I suppose, yeah.
But I find it very strange, a lot of it.
It riles me up. And then it riles me up. You guys are going to get me riled in the comments. You probably already have, because it riles me up even more. And it's funny when people do it on purpose. But there are actually people out there that will be like, there he goes again. Ball washing his hero, Joe Rogan. Oh, listen to him. He just loves Tony Hinchcliffe. And it's like, did you hear the part where I said his special was dog shit? It was terrible.
It's very funny because in the same comment section, it'll be like, there he is, ball watching Joe Rogan. And the next comment will be like, I can't believe the support Mike has for Bill Burr and all the things he says.
And that's the frustrating part is, do you ever step back and think, why do I support both of those guys? Is it that I'm just a fanboy, some crazy fanboy that loves Rogan so much? And by the way, we've done segments where we make fun of Rogan for jokes just going over his head. Like, he's a comedian that doesn't understand jokes. It's ridiculous.
Oh man, we should go back to like the first 3 weeks of this show, and
right?
Go listen to those Rogan comments.
Yeah,
think I'd rather start a pistol. Next we have suckers.
Okay. I'm gonna have thoughts on this, but I'll let Mark do the talking first.
The thing that bothered me about that is like they were, whether they knew it or not in the beginning of anti-wokeness, that was always like what the Republicans and the right have always wanted, for the last 3 or 4 decades was to dismantle, liberal democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are still pissed off about the New Deal. So,
and women's vote. That's
right. All of that stuff. And this has been brewing for so long.
People, does the average person really have a problem with women voting? Like, really?
Not enough to, want to start a movement to get rid of.
Is it like a real issue in today's society that we even have to mention? They want to take votes away from women.
Am I like women shouldn't vote? Yes.
Oh.
Would I take away their right to do so? No.
Oh, you know what? Maybe this lady has a point. I'm sorry, ma'am.
It's fucking dumb. It's never been a serious conversation, and they always like hang their hat on it.
Right.
It's like women vote with their heart, not their brains, is the argument I hear.
And then the other thing is, you just saying that, no one will be like, oh, that was a joke.
Right.
You will be like, that's a real. See, they do believe it.
Exactly. Listen for 10 more seconds before you comment.
Comics get duped into this idea that because they can't say tranny or worse words, that somehow or another that the left is infringing upon their freedom of speech. It's so shallow and stupid. And because they fought for it, they just became part of the party line of dismantling liberal democracy.
No,
never.
You are, Mark. You are simplifying such a greater issue that impacted Mark, by the way, that he is boiling down to they just want to say tranny. And Mark knows that's not true. Or if you believe, and I've heard Patton Oswalt say this. I've heard Jeselnik say this. Oh, they just want to say slurs. Now, what happened it happened before this, but from 2016 on, what really started to get crazy in response to Trump getting elected. And it's why I think the phrase cancel culture is so perfect, because it is a culture that is obsessed. And now we've seen the other side start to do it too, where people are obsessed with ruining someone you don't agree with. And in a way, that's what Maron is kind of doing here, much to a much lesser degree than the worst offenders. But it's part of what he's doing in this. And just to give you an example, because this is what was happening. This is the culture of the world that we lived in. He goes on to talk about freedom of speech. So let me hear that before I do this whole rant.
It was never a freedom of speech issue. It was never a constitutional issue.
Never.
You can say whatever you want, and you're just going to have to, shoulder the burden of the consequences. Yeah. But ultimately, what happened, because they were used as cudgels to dismantle the entire infrastructure of DEI and everything else, right? So now, like, they don't have to shoulder anything, because now they can say those words with impunity, and the left have no traction to counter it, because we're living in two separate worlds. But
it is not about saying those words. It is about saying those words or opinions or jokes or things that people don't like that you can get. And they go to this argument so often. It's not a freedom of speech issue. You can't go to jail. We know. We all know that. And freedom of speech has been used as the sort of blanket term. But ultimately, anyone arguing like, oh, it's a free speech issue, we know that you're not going to be jailed for this stuff. What is maybe not as bad as jail, but is another form of punishment that we have societally just put on ourselves. We don't need the police for this. We don't need law and order for this, because we do it to ourselves. It is a cultural issue that if a guy that you work with does, he does a good job, he does okay at his job, you maybe think you could do better, but he's not a failure. He does a job, he's hired, he hasn't lost his job for any reason, but he just rubs you the wrong way. You've never liked him. And then one day he says something you don't really care for. What you could do is talk to him about why you don't like that and hash it out with them. You could go through the proper channels. You could go to HR and maybe they have a conversation. Or maybe if it's so egregious, HR handles it internally. Instead, what you decide to do when you hear that guy who you've never liked, when he gives you an excuse to ruin his life, you do exactly that. And you go to all your other coworkers and you send a mass email and say, this guy is racist. And then you start reaching out to his friends and saying, you know what I heard this guy say, this racist piece of shit? And then you go to his family and say, do you believe that the provider of your family is saying these horrible things? And then if one of them pipes up and says, I got to tell you, I've known this guy for a long time. I don't think he's racist. I think you might have taken it the wrong way. Then you go, oh, maybe you were racist.
Say, you're also racist.
Oh, maybe we should start looking into you. And then you bully those people into going, yeah, you know what? He actually is racist. I don't want you to look at the things I've said. Nope, too late. What's this tweet from 8 years ago that I found?
What's this tweet from when you were 12?
Are you homophobic? I guess you're homophobic. And you go, no, come on, man. I'm really not. Well, then what does this mean if you're not homophobic? You think that's funny? You think gay people are for you to mock and ridicule? No, that's really, I don't remember what I meant 12 years ago. I'm sorry, not good enough. Sorry is not good enough. You need to lose your job and have everyone around you lose respect for you and distance themselves from you. So no, Mark, that's not illegal. It's legal for guys to do that. Ask Bob Murchison. You can spend your entire day emailing sponsors, going after people's families. You can do that day and night and you'll never be arrested. There will be no consequence for it. There will be no consequence for. And what I just described is the consequence culture that people, and Mark didn't cause it, but he's turning a blind eye to it. And now that it is softened, and listen, like we'll talk about Nate Bargatze in a minute. I am still of the belief that 6 years ago, Nate Bargatze, his movie would have been taken out of theaters.
Yeah.
He would have lost sponsorships. Like the reaction would have been much more extreme. And I think it's a good place that we're not there yet.
Yeah,
so
AMC would be like, we can't in good conscience play
right. Of course. So when I say like, oh, cancel culture, like it's over. I've said that in the past. I should say it's lying dormant.
Yeah.
And when I hear Chelsea Handler call people Nazis after the roast, and I hear the stuff that Marc Maron is saying here, and I see what's happening to Nate Bargatze, I'm like, okay, it's bubbling back up. Here we go. We're going to get maybe the last 2 years of Trump. They're going to inspire people to vote for that side again because the right was smart enough to adopt the, hey, maybe Shane isn't a racist stance.
Mm-hmm.
They gave these people a chance to say maybe they're not Nazis or white supremacists or xenophobic or transphobic or homophobic or whatever you want to label them as. Maybe they're not that. And that drove people over to the right. And the one side that said, hey, if you associate with any of these people, then you're the problem also. That's what cancel culture was. That was the evil of cancel culture, was trying to not only cost people their jobs and their livelihood, but destroy their reputation, like burn them down so that they could never work again. And protest would if they try and work again, you'd protest outside. These are the causes they thought were important. So yes, Tony Hinchcliffe thinking it's important to say tranny, it's silly. That's ridiculous. That's not that important. Who gives a fuck? What's important is, I would say to the other side, it's not that important if Tony Hinchcliffe says tranny.
Well, that's the thing, and it's always been this way. It's like him saying that. What does that do to you?
Right. And by the way, do you want to call it a lot of the jokes in Tony's special, hack, easy, been done before?
What a bum.
Been done by him before, by the way. He repeated jokes from other stuff. It was like lazy stereotypes that you've heard a million times. That's what you should be going after him for. But what was happening in 2020, 2016, 2018, like, and still happens now, like I said, just to a lesser degree, the volume isn't as loud on it. what would happen is they would make saying tranny a big deal or saying fag a big deal. They would try to ruin your life. The cowboy's coming, don't you worry. But me saying those words would have gotten my channel taken down.
Yeah.
I would have lost part of my livelihood for saying those things. So when you say, hey, Mark, that's not a big deal. That's not freedom of speech. I would say to the other side, guys, it's not that big a deal. You're the ones who made your entire identity stopping people from saying things like that. And again, not just those words. Having an opinion you don't agree with, voting for someone you don't agree with. And by the way, Mark, if you don't think that's true, stay tuned for our next segment.
For being the front line of
Being the dupe and the cudgel.
Yes.
The stupid hammer.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's true. And so for me, it was always a big picture thing.
Right.
And now, like some of them, I don't know if they know that, but they know they you know, that it's.
I think they're understanding they're suckers at this point. I think they're getting the penny is dropping.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like
Here's the other problem. I don't know who this lady is. I think she got in the way of Mark a little bit. I don't want to focus on her too much. But that's the other problem is, like, you see Rogan starting to distance himself. He was just at the White House the other day, but like kind of revert on, when he talks about the Epstein list, he mocks the idea of how like Trump handled it. Like he's kind of distanced himself from that side a little bit. Schultz, same way. And they take that and they go, oh, they realized they were suckers, that they were fucking idiots. No, maybe their opinions have changed, or maybe they've seen things they don't agree with, and now they're like, yeah, we don't like the Iran war or whatever. Like, what they do now is when they start coming over to their side of the street, they're like, oh, I guess the fucking idiots are here, huh? I guess the fucking sucker morons are finally coming around.
The thing is liberals in no way, shape, or form can ever say they were remotely wrong on something.
I think that's true of both. I think that goes back to the good and evil stuff.
Well, no, but that goes to my point. Like Rogan and Schultz can be like, nah, he's wrong about this.
But here's the thing. I don't think those guys are Republicans. I don't think they're I'm sure they voted for Trump or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is when I say Republicans or liberals, I'm saying these people who are completely inflexible. The guy I'm looking at excluded. Craig is obviously much
I'm
different.
flexible.
Oh, very, very. You should see this guy do a backflip.
I can touch my toes.
but when I say like right or left, I'm talking about these guys that are completely inflexible and putting that R on the chest of Rogan and Shaw, like saying they're Republican, I think is what locks people into like, okay, I guess I'm Republican then.
Right.
Because like Rogan wouldn't define himself that way. Like Rogan had a lot of people that were left leaning. He was used in fucking Bernie Sanders campaign ads.
Right.
So like putting them in the prison of, well, they are this, it only drives people further that way. And that's what the left has done for 10 fucking years. I think there's a lot of people like me that would gladly vote liberal if you gave us a reason to. But you, Marc Maron and other people like that, think I'm a racist idiot. So I'm kind of like, well, why would I hop on that side then? They don't want me.
You think Shane Gillis is funny, so you're not allowed to be in the club.
Correct.
Are we going to Nate now?
Okay. Yes, we will separate the two now. And if Mark thinks that that stuff doesn't happen, Mark likes Nate Bargatze. He's promoted Nate. Nate's been on his show, and he thinks Nate's a very funny stand-up comedian. And I think Nate has friends of all walks of comedy: black, white, Hispanic, liberal, Republican, clean and filthy comedians. He's friends with a lot of people in comedy, and he's always kept his personal beliefs pretty private. Mm-hmm. He does not talk politics. Listen, Mark, if you believe it's not a freedom of speech issue, it's a freedom of standing near someone issue. What did Nate Bargatze do to have all? And by the way, hold on, let's start here. let's begin right here. In the spirit of giving the devil their due. Nate Barnazi, pretty funny.
Very funny.
You gotta tip your cap once in a while and say, boy, they nailed that one. It's kind of like a Nate Bargatze joke where it's like, boy, it was right there in front of you, but you didn't really see it, you know?
Yeah.
Nate Bargatze.
They are huge fans of his.
So while that is funny, wild reasoning for it. So let's get into it. Let's just I just found a couple clips. Now maybe I'm being had here. Is the joke that this channel is called Fair and Balanced?
I have no idea. If that's the joke, my anger towards this guy will drop a lot if that's true.
Maybe it's a parody. He has like 1 million followers. I'm not familiar with this account. So maybe it's a parody. And if so, then I apologize for reacting. Keep an eye on the chat. Maybe they know this Fair and Balanced account. Is this real? Because if it's real, it's fucking crazy. But the reason I wanted to play a couple clips here is because I think it represents what I thought was nuts. This meltdown over Nate on his Reddit, like from his fans. I don't know who they thought Nate was before. If it's not a parody, it sure seems like it. So let's see some of the reaction to Nate Bargatze. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Nate Bargatze was just at the White House last Sunday.
That's even too strong.
You're right. You're right. He was at an MMA fight that happened to be at the White House.
And he took a photo with someone from one of the most popular TV shows ever.
Who's that?
Cheryl Hines?
Oh, I was thinking RFK. I was like, what?
No.
Was he on Seinfeld? Yes. Yeah, no, he was on the Larry David's TV wife, Cheryl Hines.
Yeah, that and a lib. And now the libs hate him.
Yes.
Nate Bargatze, the top-selling comedian in the United States today, decided to go full MAGA and may have destroyed his...
Is this a joke? This is a joke, right?
Don't think so.
Full MAGA.
I don't think so. He went to an MMA fight, took a photo with another celebrity, and now he's a piece of shit.
And by the way, is it take a photo like RFK, you're my idol? Or did they say like, all right, everyone in, come on.
Either way.
He's just right. Either way, who gives a shit? But like, he's just standing near someone. We don't know what his thoughts are, what he's saying. And I got to give our boy Jeff Dye credit. What do we hear when I give Jeff Dye credit, Craig?
Oh. Hold on.
Get ready, folks.
It's coming.
The cowboy made a good point. Jeff Dye was like, why is this a political So Nate went to an event with dirt bikes and UFC fighting, and it makes him a Nazi?
There was bald eagles.
Oh, evil.
Yeah.
Nate is guilty of being a 12-year-old. He's like, oh, man, planes fly by. There were dirt bikes zooming around.
That's the thing. Like the UFC freedom was cool. I don't know why it has to be political. A fighter was reading the actual Declaration of Independence, walks out, and then beat the fuck out of somebody. It was cool.
If you want to say keep like politics out of sports, and if you were consistent, by the way, if you said that with Colin Kaepernick and you say it again now, then I'm with you. Yeah, that's okay. Whatever. Yeah, if you don't want to be thinking about politics or the Iran war or any of that shit, if you don't want to be thinking about that during your UFC fight, I get it. But I will also say, seeing a UFC fight on the White House lawn, probably like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Absolutely.
Like kind of a cool thing. To me, it's no different. Like it would be like, can you believe he went to a Bruins game at Fenway Park? Like it's just a weird, goofy thing they're doing that's kind of unique and cool.
Like if Biden was president during this, I would say equally, it's pretty cool.
Go. It's going to be an awesome time. Yeah.
It's sick. It's at the White House. It's a celebration of America. It happens to be on Donald Trump's birthday. But
a little lame. We could have saved it for the 4th of July.
done it the night before on a Saturday. They just had to make it Sunday.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing was cool. The setting was cool. The White House being the backdrop was cool.
And hey, if you didn't think it was cool, I didn't watch. Who gives a shit? Just don't watch it.
Exactly.
If you didn't watch, you wouldn't know Nate was there, and your life would be no different. But does anyone know yet? Have you seen anything in the chat? Does anyone know if this is a parody channel?
Germ, who I believe
Germ is good. Germ is good.
Says it's 100% legit.
And this is nuts. Listen to this asshole.
Career. Bargatze was, of course, photographed at the UFC event at the White House on Sunday for Donald Trump's birthday, but it's not Bargatze himself
for Donald Trump's birthday.
Nate's got a party hat on and a noisemaker.
Nate has often gone to UFC fights, and I don't want to burst anyone's bubble. Guy chose to move to Tennessee, likes golf.
Yeah, he's probably a Republican.
Probably.
When Nate says, because we're gonna get to like, they're very mad that Nate's like, I'm not political. Which, by the way, he didn't say. Someone claimed to be a source who knows Nate and said, Nate says he's not political. What Nate means when he says that is like, it's none of your fucking business who he votes for.
Which is old school.
I'm sure Brian Regan and Sebastian Maniscalco have thoughts on politics. They just choose not to give them to you. I don't know who, I could probably guess, but I don't know who Jerry Seinfeld voted for.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Maybe I do.
No, you 100% do. Did you see him walk out of the Knicks game? And they're like, "Hey, Jerry, give us a free Palestine." And he goes, "Well, that place doesn't exist."
I was gonna say now maybe I do, but for a long time you didn't know who Jerry voted for.
Who posted the photos? No, it was Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s wife, B-list actress Cheryl Hines.
So now we're trashing Cheryl Hines' career.
What the fuck does she do?
What did he call her? B-list actress?
D-list.
Oh, D-list. I'm sorry. Hey, Curb was a hell of a show.
It was.
Who saw Bargatze, a real celebrity, and decided to get a photo with him, which she then...
Okay, go back. We need to hear this asshole again. I don't think Cheryl Hines, who is married to RFK and played Larry David's TV wife for a lot of years, I don't think she saw Nate Bargatze and was like, oh my God, I need a picture with a celebrity.
The people she ran into on that show alone.
I think if Nate was like, no, I'd rather not, I think she would have been all right.
Yeah. But even he was like, well, nothing's obviously going to come of this.
I don't agree with that. So a good contributor to this show, or a supporter of this show, I should say, Diana reached out to me about this. She's like, I hope you're going to talk about Nate Bargatze. And it seemed like she had slightly different opinions on
who?
Nate.
We're going to talk about who?
Nate Bargatze?
Nate Bargatze.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shame on me. Yes. Yeah. He's an evil man. Boy, has there never been a better example of doing the Nazis a real disservice. I mean, Jesus. If Nate is now a Nazi, you're really not just acknowledging what they did.
Yeah, that guy that keeps to himself and you don't know anything about his personal life is a Nazi.
No, here's what you know about his personal life. He has wacky fights with his wife and and gets into antics of his own out in the world.
That's right.
Oh, what was I saying, though?
Diana.
Oh, Diana reached out to me and said, it's interesting because on Theo Vaughn's podcast, Nate was talking about his theme park and how they secured the land and they're looking for investors. And so her point was Nate's probably being used by some of the people who know that it's a good thing for him to be at the White House and maybe know that a picture of him would spark outrage and maybe even they fuel that a bit to just get buzz going, and then they can go, hey, Nate's a Nazi, but he's also opening a theme park. I know you're talking about this Nazi right now, but you know what he's building in Tennessee?
Yeah, if you take a bird's eye view of one of the roller coasters, it's actually in the shape of a swastika.
So that I think we're at the point where that's not even really a conspiracy theory by her. Like there's that could very well be true. But my problem again, much like with Maron, like I don't think this guy is in on that.
No.
This fair and balanced guy, or the Young Turks that we're going to talk about in a minute, or the people on Reddit, or Nate's fans that are like, I thought I knew you. Yeah, I thought you got milk with ice in your Starbucks coffee. but now I know who you really are. Those people are who I'm talking about, where I'm saying, like, we allow ourselves to be you. If that's happening, if we're all pawns in this media machine that allows to fuel, the anger behind this is what's and I guess you could say maybe I'm contributing it just by talking about it. But my point is always, why are you so fucking worked up about this?
Great point.
So we haven't even really got it. Let's hear this fair and balanced point.
At the White House on Sunday for Donald Trump's birthday, but it's not Bargatze himself who posted the photos. No, it was Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s wife, D-list actress Cheryl Hines, who saw Bargatze, a real celebrity, and decided to get a photo with him, which she then posted on social media.
Oh my God.
Bargatze's cover.
Wow.
Bargatze
by the way, he's saying this the way you would on Dateline, where you're like, and she buried the weapon. Like, talking about Cheryl Hines posting a photo on Instagram is like the smoking gun that this guy is using.
The next thing that pops up is the 60-minute stopwatch.
Of followers across Instagram, across Twitter. I follow him on Instagram. I'm a big fan of his comedy. I thought he was hilarious up until Sunday, but
yeah, now his jokes aren't funny now.
What made him not hilarious? Man, I look at that
UFC fight either. Like, this is crazy.
I really look at that joke about Nate seeing a horse and thinking it was dead and then realizing it wasn't. Now I wonder if that was really about the gig economy. And he had grander ideas.
He is very active on social media. Like, he posts everything. But he didn't post anything from the event because he knew, if I get seen here, I'm going to alienate more than half of the country, and that could basically destroy my career.
Could it also be that he's like in a spot where he is at the White House?
He's like, if he's seen here, which is why he only posed for one photo. Like, does Nate? Listen, I'll grant you, it'd be weird if Nate didn't post about it. If he was if he was Bert Kreischer, if he was constantly in your face on social media. If you say Nate posts, like, Nate's team posts a lot of clips, and like if you scroll through Nate's Instagram feed, it's a lot of him going, "Hey y'all, my movie The Breadwinner's out in theaters. Go see it. It's cheaper than the other movies. Go see it." He's not this social media whore that lives his life on Instagram.
Right.
So he at least had enough brains to know he shouldn't post anything. But then Cheryl Hines went and blew it all up for him. And now we know.
So here's my other thing.
Cheryl Hines.
He just said none of this is Nate's fault, but he's a Nazi.
Oh, well, no, because here's their theory. Nate secretly, Nate put on his white hood to be escorted to the White House and was hoping no one would notice him. But that idiot Cheryl Hines blew his cover. Like, he knew how bad and evil this was, but he's just so fucking Republican, man. It was oozing out of his pores that he had to sneak to that White House and just hope no one caught him there.
There was no liberal fight fans who were there?
No, not one.
Not a single
It
one?
wasn't allowed.
Ah.
They check your voting history. They go through any podcasts that you've done. They make sure they vetted you at the door.
See, this is where this country's lost for me. Is like,
it's fucking crazy, man.
like, no one respects the office of president anymore.
This would have been a joke I would make 5 years ago, where I'd warn people about cancel culture. And I'd say, guys, if we keep going down this slippery slope, which is a phrase I used a lot back then, I'd say, guys, if we keep doing this, we're going to get to the point that we're going to take, I don't know, Nate Bargatze, a guy who doesn't give a fuck about politics. And always he's going to be at an event, like a sporting event, but Donald Trump's going to be there and they're going to take a picture of him and they're going to be like, he must be a racist now too. And we're going to try and ruin his reputation. And splice that with Nate Barnazi. And his dumb face is like, hey, man, you're the lady from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Big fan of your show.
But none of this is surprising. In fact, the reason Bargatze
no.
himself likely didn't post anything on social media about it is because not that long ago, right, just a couple weeks ago, he got serious backlash for posting a photo of himself in the office of Marsha Blackburn, Republican senator.
Oh, my God. So the conspiracy now is that Nate knows now, thanks to Marsha Blackburn, which, by the way, he was probably meeting with because he's trying to get a theme park built, would be my guess.
It needs their permission, basically.
I got to tell you, as someone who built a house, just a tiny house on a tiny piece of land.
I mean, both of that's not true.
Well, in a tiny part of Massachusetts.
There we go.
just a humble little abode.
Yes. Yeah, it's your pool houses.
That's neither here nor there. But as someone who built something of that size, I imagine it's a little exhausting to get a theme park built.
Yeah.
So my guess is Nate's probably had to hobnob with some people and say, man, I'd really like to go fast on some rides.
Unrelated. Did he buy an existing theme park?
No, I think they secured a bunch of land and he is working with Storyland, who owns other theme parks.
Storyland, like New Hampshire's own?
Oh, maybe. I don't know if they own that or it's just a coincidence. I don't know.
Oh.
But the Storyland is a company that he's working with that owns other theme parks. And by the way, like I've heard people make fun of Nate for this because I think because it's called Nateland, I think they think it's going to be Nate themed rides or something.
Yeah, one of the games you play is you throw balls and knock Nate's teeth out.
Right? Yeah, the milk with ice challenge.
That is a lame name. I got to be honest.
Nateland.
Yeah.
I don't. It's no lamer than Dollywood.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know.
So the logic is, and I listened to Nate talk about it on Theo's podcast, and he's like, listen, I had my name in the title because like my fans trust me and believe I'm going to put on a good product, and I want to build this theme park, and it's going to be like Nashville themed, I guess. Which if you just told me, if you were told me a guy that's making $80 million a year is just building a theme park in Nashville, I wouldn't be like, what?
The last millionaire to just make a theme park was Michael Jackson. That didn't turn out so well.
But he's crazy.
It's just something you don't hear very often.
It's unusual, and it's what's the phrase I'm looking for? Head in the clouds type. Like he's shooting for the stars.
Well, if he makes it like because theme parks now are like crazy fucking expensive to get into.
Yeah.
If he makes this like a theme park for the people, that'd be cool.
Well, so Nate, he wants to do something like, and I've heard him talk about, and again, I'm sure people think he's evil now, and there's more sinister reasons for this behind that. But what he says is he wants to build a theme park because he grew up having Opryland near him that shut down, and he had a job there. Like that was his first job, was working minimum wage, sweeping up at Opryland. And he knows how much that helped a kid like him when he was young be part of something like that. He thought it was a really cool job, and he's also giving back to his community at a fun place, and it's fun for people to go. And he says that live entertainment, he sees that as being an escape that people want. Like he looks at his shows and says, hey, I'm just a dummy standing on stage, and 16,000 people per show come and see me. People want to get out of the house and do fun shit. Maybe that means they want a theme park. Maybe they want events there. Like maybe they want stuff to go do with their family, and that's why they're bringing their kids to my shows. Maybe they'll bring them to a theme park also. He sees it as being good for the community, and he has the money to do it. So he's like, let me give back in that way. Is it the best way to give back to your community? Probably not. But it's a fun way that Nate wants to do, and it's his money, so who gives a shit?
If it's like a like a community place where it's cheap and kids can go there on like Friday, Saturday nights, I would say it probably is actually.
I assume that's what it's going to be. Now, what happens with this stuff ultimately is maybe Nate will lose control of it, and it won't be that, and that'll suck, and it'll be unfortunate, and that's how business goes a lot of the time. And Nate will learn a very valuable lesson.
Well, maybe labeling the guy as Barnazi will draw people away from it and ruin the whole thing.
Very possible. And that's why I don't completely believe this is like Nate's PR machine.
Definitely not. That's a horrible thing to label yourself.
It would be horrible branding to be called Barnazi. And it's clever enough that it might have staying power.
Oh. Other roller coasters are just named after Nazi things.
Again, on the nickname, no notes. Well,
no notes.
That didn't go over well with most of the country when he's buddying up to a horrific Republican.
He's just trying to get some fucking permits signed. And they're like, hey, I like your comedy. Will you take a picture with me?
Is he might be talking about the Senate. He has to be talking about
he's talking about that's what makes it even crazier to me. I think it's less crazy, and I only mean this because I've heard other people do it. It's less crazy to me to be like RFK is this horrible, evil man. I think it's crazy, but enough people do it that you've numbed me to it. I don't know who the fuck Marsha Blackburn is, and I don't want to. I don't want to live in a world where I have to know who that is. But just based on the fact that she's a Republican, this guy is like, she's evil.
Is she a state senator or is she like
I don't even know that. that would be hilarious if she's just a local politician.
Yeah. No, she's a U.S. senator.
Okay, all right.
That would be hilarious if it was just someone that county would know.
Some city councilor.
Let's continue this.
Oh, he learned his lesson. I'm not going to post photos, but he didn't learn the lesson. I'm not going to do this at all.
Maybe. What did you say? It was a few weeks ago he was with Marsha Blackburn?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Maybe he didn't learn the lesson. Maybe he's just been with no Republicans since then.
I hate this guy.
It's crazy. And now, so you might think, Mike, this is anecdotal. This is one lunatic on the internet. Let's go to another lunatic on the internet. We don't need to watch the whole thing. You guys get the gist. Let's hear another video talking about Nate Bargatze.
You ever look at something and just know it's fake? Well, there is a man in our country who's built an entire fortune on being the single most aggressively harmless human being alive.
This guy's name is Josh Gay, by the way.
That's fun.
It's accurate.
No cursing.
He doesn't do a lot of joshing, if it sounds like to me.
No, a lot of gay.
Politics, comedy bits about Walmart and his daughter's math, and the fact that he can't quite pronounce whores divorce. Talking about Nate Bargatze.
I don't think, by the way, I don't think he has a bit about that. I think it came up organically on the podcast once.
Hors d'oeuvres?
The word hors d'oeuvres was written, and he pronounced it whores divorce. It was like an organic thing that came up that he got made fun of.
So this guy's a mega fan.
Super fan.
That watching his act feels like being tucked into a weighted blanket by a golden retriever who just got baptized. So when you see that soft-spoken Tennessee teddy bear, the human equivalent of a Cracker Barrel.
Can I say something? That's on you if you thought that of him.
Huh?
That's on you if you thought any of this stuff about Nate.
Right, for
I
sure.
just thought he was a funny comedian. I didn't think, oh, there's my God.
At that White House cage match thrown for the 80th birthday of Donald Trump, the spray-tanned birthday boy who somehow thinks that the south lawn of the White House is a Chuck E. Cheese for autocrats. The very instant you see a picture of that man at that event, and the very instant that picture hit the internet, Nate Bargatze's PR people sprinted to the nearest reporters to clarify, this wasn't political, I promise. Look, Nate is just a big UFC fan. He was there for the sport. That's the ticket. Or
That's what was happening.
That's exactly what it was.
That's what was happening. Listen, I haven't been to a sporting event in a long time, but I don't remember going to a Red Sox game, or actually, that's not true. I went to a Yankees game last year, and I'll be going to one this year. And I'm worried now that I'll be sitting at the Yankees game, and someone will be like, "We know what you're doing here."
I'll be at a Red Sox Yankees game next week.
I'm gonna be like, I'm here for the ball game, and they're like, "Yeah, that's what you want us to believe."
He was promoting his new movie. That's it. It's not political at all.
He wasn't promoting his new movie.
I was gonna say, let's just get. He wasn't promoting shit. He wasn't even promoting that he was at the event.
He was there because fucking Shane and Tony and whoever else he's friends with were there, and he's like, "All right, I guess I'll go too." His other rich comedian friends were there. That's why he was there, and he likes UFC.
He is so terrified of the blowback from such a thing that Bargatze didn't even post a thing. We knew he was there because Cheryl Hines, the actress married to RFK Jr., posted a grinning photo from the event herself with her husband and Nate, like a Christmas card from the apocalypse, with the brainworm himself licking the envelope.
Is that what it was like? Was it like a Christmas card?
It looked like a. Hey, can I get a photo? Sure.
Was
Photo.
it just every photo that's been taken at every event?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Look, the apolitical everyman routine, it only works if you believe that the poor guy wandered in by accident and thought that the White House octagon setup was somehow a Bass Pro Shop demo. But you and I, we know better. And according to a source close to Bargatze who spoke to the Daily Beast, Nate discussed the appearance with his team beforehand. They knew in advance that him showing up would be read.
Do you mean, hold on a second. Do you mean that Nate went to his team and said, "Hey, just so everyone knows, there's going to be a bunch of babies that think I'm like a deep state Republican now"?
Yeah.
Just be aware of that. Do you mean that's true? No, Nate.
Say it ain't so.
You're telling me that Nate realized people would wildly overreact to this? Boy, that really kind of cuts out the whole theory that Nate was so dumb that he just thought he could not post a picture and get away with it. No, Nate was like, "Hey, there might be a picture of me taking at this thing, so and people are gonna like overreact. So just so you know, you can say like I'm not political. I just wanted to see a UFC fight."
Statement. And he went anyway. He knew what it meant to be there. And the fact that he didn't want to post about it, that tells you everything. Because even Nate knows that supporting Trump.
He knew this would happen. And by the way, like I know these are just a couple of idiots we picked on the internet. Go to his Reddit. Pick any post. I picked one, but Craig said it was deleted.
It was.
Yeah. So just go pick one from Reddit. There's a bunch of posts like this. If you look at his social media, it's people being like, "I trusted you." And the reason I found this topic so interesting today, particularly because we talked about Maron, where Maron's like, they just want to say slurs. That's what they thought that whole cancel culture thing was. They were trying to take slurs away from them, and that made these racists mad. No, look at what's happening to Nate, where Nate just attended a sporting event, and now, but not only are people calling him a Nazi, which is crazy. It's like it just is. It does such a disservice to like pointing out actual racists in society, not even to the level of Nazis. Like Nate's not a racist, Stephen. So to jump to the level of Nazi, it takes all the power out of that word, and now it just means nothing. But also, like they're going after Nate. I've seen articles, legitimate articles. Like if you Google, like if you go to Google News and see the latest articles written about Nate, you'll see headlines like false reports that Nate married his wife when she was 17. It's like they might have both been. I think they're the same age. They met at an Applebee's. Like people know the story.
They're gonna charge him for like 2 months of he's 18 and she's not yet.
Right? Yeah. Right. Maybe there's something like that. Like he was 18 and she was 17. But Reddit is calling him a pedophile now. Like that inevitably it always goes there. And like I said, I think right now, luckily, we are at a point where this will blow over in a couple days. It's not going to be that big a deal. I hopefully people handle it like me, where they're laughing at it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if this happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, Nate, like his gigs would be protested for sure. His movie would be taken out of theaters. I think that's a definite. I think all like the podcasts that he puts on, which by the way, if you can believe this, some of the people on his podcast network, women, minorities, even get this, liberals. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy the lengths this guy will go to hide who he truly is.
What a monster.
He's living that much in the darkness behind the scenes. So all is operating, and at his eventually at his Republican-only theme park, that's where the truth will come out. But like they're calling him all these horrible things, and like years ago, and it will happen again. It'll come back. We're seeing the breadcrumbs of it now. I think in 5 years this will happen to someone where it's not just social media backlash. And I think that's the problem, and that's what gets me fucking fired up about these issues. And I do get the argument that I'm contributing to it, but just by me getting angry about it, like that's what they want or something. I do think we need more level-headed people like me that aren't dug into either side, that are going, guys, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. You're calling Nate a Nazi and a pedophile because he took a picture with the wife from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
He's a pedophile. He took a photo with 65-year-olds.
He's a known Seinfeld fan. I assumed he dipped into Curb once in a while. I know he's a hypocrite because they have curse words on there. Right. But here's the other thing about Nate's. They're like, oh, now they're trying to equate him to Cosby. They're like, he's a clean comedian living a double life. It's like, no, he's a clean comedian who's friends with Big Jay Oakerson.
No shit.
Like his best friends in comedy. In the last 6 months, he's been on Legion of Skanks. Where were you then, by the way, dickheads?
No shit. Were they self-professed
most offensive podcast on earth?
Yes,
a Nazi podcast. I don't believe that, but if Lewis was here, he would say it.
Reduces your potential audience by about 50 or 60% of the country.
That's not true either.
But to quote the great Geddy Lee of Rush, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Oh, you know what? I said that shouldn't be true. He's saying if he came out as a Republican, he knows he would reduce his audience by 50 or 60%. I don't believe that's true. But if it is, what a shameful commentary on the country. What a shame. If you just believe some of the things, I assume there's a lot of Republicans out there that only believe some of the things Republicans represent. Mm-hmm. And there's some other things on the other side where they're like, well, I believe in that, but just not as much as I believe in this other stuff. You're telling me based on that, half the country would disown this guy? That is such a horrible commentary on our culture. Like I said, I keep going back to that. I think the phrase cancel culture is so perfect. It's such a gross culture we live in that is running to ruin someone the first second they see something they don't agree with.
It just proves that the left is full of fucking pussies.
Yeah, it's a less articulate way of what I was saying, but I'm glad you interrupted me with it, I guess.
This is just so maddening. Dude takes a photo with a famous person and someone in the presidential cabinet, and now his life's getting ruined.
This is a sketch from 2015.
Yes.
This is what people like me were saying years ago, where it's like, it's going to come to this, where you're trying to ruin Mr. fucking Rogers.
Yes.
Where you're like, he's a Nazi. And I'm not exaggerating. That's what they're saying about him.
Oh, man.
Should we play a little more, or do we get the point from this guy?
I think we get the point.
I agree. I think we get the point. But yeah. And like, hopefully most sane, reasonable people aren't like this. But I got to tell you, I know a few people in real life and you might be like, oh, Mike, these left-wing commentators, that's what their living is. They need to spark outrage. And I get that. Those are just the best examples we had of what's happening online. But I do get that. But I've met people in real life that are like, I had a conversation with a friend recently where we hung out with a big group of friends. And it was friends of friends were there. Like, we didn't know them that well. And then our friends that invited us to that event, we saw them the week later. And I said, hey, I really like that couple. They're very fun, funny. They're a good hang. And they said, oh, they like you guys a lot. And I said, I'll tell you this, though. I think if the girl got to know me a little better, she'd be like, you can't be friends with that guy. And she was very liberal. And it seemed like the kind of person that was like, if she heard a few of my theories, she might be like, this guy's no good. And it's a crime that we live in that world that, like, you have to be on airs around people, because if you give your real thoughts, they'll disown you without really knowing your reason for having those thoughts. So that's my dissertation today. I hope I did okay. I'm sure the comments will tell me otherwise, but I look forward to reading them.
Right. Where do you want to go next?
This is kind of nice. No super chats in our way.
There's none. No.
We just go wherever we want.
Yeah, we're free to roam.
Ooh, Craig, where should we go next?
Can
we do a quick update?
Yes.
And I liked the idea. I think we should have a weekend guy when we pre-record this stuff. We should have a weekend guy on staff who can break in, like like old ESPN used to do. Where it's like, breaking news: Brendan Schaub crashed his truck in Austin this morning.
My God.
More on that later this week, but now back to the boys. But this happened late breaking as we record this. Carlos Mencia. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to believe this. Carlos Mencia is a fraud. And now legally. What was he charged with?
Comedian Carlos Mencia charged with 12 felony tax counts.
Crazy, these guys. I'm amazed at the amount of time these guys fall into this trap where you get rich quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know that life, so maybe it's very easy to fall into. But like athletes have this a lot where like you have a brief window of fame, but more so riches, like income coming in. And Carlos Mencia had that window where he was making a ton of money. They got a lot of the time they get popped for taxes. Just pay your fucking taxes, folks.
Yeah, prosecutors allege Mencia, 58, failed to file personal and corporate tax returns over a 6-year period and did not report about $8.7 million in income, resulting in more than $300,000 in unpaid state taxes.
Damn. So what's happening to him?
I'm going to guess he's going to be told to pay the tax, which he probably can't afford anymore. And
well, the only reason I wanted to talk about this, there's not much to say. It's unfortunate. Hope Mencia is all right. He doesn't seem like a guy that deserves jail to me. But it did inspire me because I meant to mention this to you a while back. I think I've got our next special to watch.
Ooh.
I'd like to do Tony's special, but like Netflix is weird with that. Last time we watched a Netflix special, it got blocked globally.
Yes.
So I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but I didn't realize Carlos Mencia put out a YouTube special like 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he retired like a decade ago.
Oh no, I still see, because I check like the local clubs and shit, like Laugh Boston or Hartford Funny Bone or whatever. And I check those schedules, Providence Comedy Connection. I check those schedules regularly. And like once a year, I see Mencia's name pop up. So he's around. But yeah, I thought maybe we could do maybe Tuesday or something if you're around. Maybe we could do a Carlos Mencia watch along.
How long was it? That's the question.
I think it's like an hour.
Interesting. I'm surprised they didn't go to like the 35 to 45 minute formula.
I skipped ahead. If this is it might have been 45. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was an hour. I think we get a little taste. I'll put it this way. I compared the ending of False Gods to an early Mencia special. I think we might get a little taste of that in this.
Interesting.
Yeah, not a full Cowan, but
I'll definitely be able to. I don't know exactly what day or time yet because it's summer now and everything's fucked.
oh, the wind's blowing through Craig's hair. He's out there catching some rays.
No, I can't throw the kids at school anymore.
Sorry, bro. I'm too busy shredding gnar. Craig's too busy with the surf and sun.
My goal to become an X Games gold medalist.
You got a Long Island iced tea out on the beach.
That's right.
No time for Mencia, man.
That sounds nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So maybe we'll do that this week. But shout out, good luck to Carlos Mencia. He's a joke thief. That it doesn't mean he deserves jail time, for God's sake.
Yeah, he opens this new special talking about the racist cheeseburger.
Another quick clip that I don't think we'll spend too much time on, but I thought it was a very good. Ari Shaffir off to London. Supposedly moving to London for the foreseeable future. Who knows? Maybe it's just a short trip and he's pulling the wool over our eyes. But I thought this was a very good way. Ari was on with, what's this girl's name?
I don't know. She's at Barnazi, right?
Yeah, she's one of Coleman's friends from the Summer House stuff.
Okay.
But she does a podcast. It's like they draw or something. Like they're drawing while they're talking.
Yeah.
She kind of interviews them while they're drawing together. A fun little gimmick, I guess. But Ari said something about Riyadh. And this so perfectly encapsulates what I was saying about the Riyadh stuff. I figured if we're getting political today, we might as well go the full way. So dip back into Riyadh for a second. Because Ari perfectly says how I felt about a lot of that stuff and why I went harder at Burr and Whitney than I did some of the other comedians.
That you would have taken to go to Riyadh Comedy Fest?
I would not have gone there to perform for I was gone when it happened, so I was catching whiffs of it when I got back.
And you're like, what?
And I was like, I don't understand. What, it's just a comedy festival in like Saudi Arabia? Like for people? Do they have that money? They're like, no, it's for the government. And I'm like, what? No way.
Yeah. It's weird. It's
no,
weird.
The fun.
Which, by the way, is like poking holes in Schultz's whole thing of like, I got fans over there. We just went over there for the fans. It's like, but everyone knew it was for the government, right? Like you knew you were government employees going over there. And I saw people try to compare what Nate did to Riyadh.
No, they're silly. Remember Bill Burr?
It's like, I don't even get that. I know they're silly over there. But people saying like, oh, Nate doing this is no different than the Riyadh comics. I'm like, I don't even get the comparison. Unless Trump paid him to be there, then I guess I would get it. But I don't even get how it's close.
Didn't go.
It's priceless.
I'm not going to say there's no amount of money. At some point, you start going, I could do some good with this.
Yeah.
It's
what
so
do you
much
think of
money.
the people that did it?
Depends who. So like certain people, like I don't give a shit about politics. Never been that guy. If that's who you are, then it's like, yeah, I guess go. But if you're like ever had like a moral hierarchy or something like that, there's like
you lose all of it.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's so crazy. But also I love it. I love when people are hypocrites. It makes me laugh so much. So I do like that they all went. It was funny finding out later. And I was like, who? No way this person. Be like, yes, that person. I'm like, what? No way.
Yeah, I thought that would nicely put a bow on our theme of the day, because I think that's such a better way to approach this stuff where it's like, yeah, some of the comedians are hypocrites, and that's funny to me. Some of the comedians probably thought like, hey, this is a lot of money, and they convinced themselves, I don't know, if it's blood money, who cares? I can do some good with it.
Boy, does he just want to tee off on Burr, though.
A little bit. I think that's specifically who he was referring to, probably. Or Whitney, maybe.
Yeah.
But like I forget what I was going to say. You halted my train of thought. It was a doozy. What was I going to say? Come on, Mikey, think.
I thought it was on topic. My fault.
No, not your fault. Totally not your fault. What was I going to say? Oh, the like you convince yourself like, oh, I can do some good with that money. I totally get it. Unless you're a guy who's shamed other celebrities for doing that or talked about the horrible women's rights atrocities in this country, let alone over there. Like that is such a delusional thing. But like other people like Mark Normand, like who gives a shit? Like he went over there for the money. Not who gives a shit, because like if you think there's a point to them taking blood money, you think that's wrong. I do totally get that argument also. So not who gives a shit, but like I don't look at Norman and DeStefano and these guys. I don't look at them as how could you. And when I look at Maron, where it's like if he approached this stuff with a more nuanced take, and it wasn't just so black and white with everything, like if him lumping Tim Dillon is the perfect example. If he was like Tim Dillon's different because like that's a comedy show and he's being silly, there's nuance there. I still probably wouldn't agree with him, but there's more nuance to it. But it is such a black and white culture, and that's why I love guys like Ari who approach everything as they come to him. It's not the take you already thought he was going to have before you even knew the story, you know?
Right. I thought he would be like, who cares?
Right. Yeah, so did I. I thought he wouldn't even, but like the fact that he's like, oh, that's funny that some of these hypocrites are getting their comeuppance.
Perfect.
Like, yeah, I like that. But that, that ties a bow on our political game today.
Yeah, the rest is just fun.
Yes. So let's talk about Big J getting called out.
This was surprising.
Very surprising. I do have to say, it is funny to watch. And part of it is just how podcasts are released, where a lot of these may have just been recorded the week of the roast and they just trickle out over time. But it does feel like, okay, yeah, the Kevin Hart roast, biggest comedy event of the year. Boy, we've really milked this for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like we're still talking about this. But Naeem Lynn was on a podcast and Big Jay Oakerson's name gets brought up. This was very surprising as someone who has listened to Jay for a lot of years. I never got the sense this was their relationship. Naeem is close to Kevin still. So maybe he has a better idea of how Kevin feels, or maybe, memories have been twisted over the years. But I was surprised to hear Naeem talk like this. Big J went out of his way to say him and Naeem were the only two guys that wrote their own jokes for the roast. So he gave him props for that. But Jay also said, I was never really close with Naeem. I didn't know him well. Like we kind of came up in the same circles. I definitely knew him, but we weren't like tight by any means. So he was just kind of, they were around each other, but not particularly close, which surprised me that Naeem had this take on Big Jay Oakerson.
Me and Big J, we kind of like started off with Kev. So, and I still work with Kev. Big J, I don't think Big J still hates Kevin.
He hates Kevin.
He hates him. He won't say it. He fucking hates him. I know he hates him.
Why does he hate
He's
him?
always hated him.
Oh, he's always hated.
He's always hated Kev.
Back to
if you want to say like if he said, oh, Jay's like a little resentful of Kev's success, I could believe that. I've never gotten the sense he hates Kevin Hart.
I get the sense that he misses him a lot.
It seems like, and maybe this is just how Jay has changed over the years. It seems like not even that he misses his friend, that like his friend got really successful and just kind of cut him out of his life. We're just like, oh, that's not a guy I talk to anymore. And it seems like that bummed Jay out, because I've heard Jay talk about like after the slap, the Will Smith slap, Kevin Hart was getting like choked up. And he's like, man, it's such a tough situation because Chris Rock and Will Smith, these guys are my brothers. And Big J's like, those are your brothers now? Like it was such a shock to him to hear him talk about these guys he hasn't known nearly as long, when like Jay can't get a text back from him. So it seemed more like hurt that he was hurt. His friend just kind of drifted away from him. I never got the sense that he hated Kevin, but I don't know. Maybe Naeem knows something we don't.
He might feel that way currently, but like for everything he says, it sounds like
I don't know, because I gotta say props to Kevin Hart, because even like they're not close, and Kevin must have, at least on some level, greenlit Jay being on that roast. And today, this is a guy I came up with. Yeah, I want to have people that like knew me when I was starting out, and he gave Jay that opportunity. So it doesn't seem like there was like bad blood with each other. But
I'm curious if Jay responds to this.
Let's hear Naeem explain.
He's always hated Kev. They both, Keith Robinson was their mentor, and Keith got them when they were early in the game, said, come to New York, and Kev kept going, and Jay was like, I'm not going up there to fucking sit around and not get on stage.
Hold on. As Ben Bailey famously said, and Kevin ripped Keith's wing off and flew to Los Angeles with it. As Kev has been stuck circling around Philadelphia. or Keith rather. I don't really know what. So Jay, maybe he moved to New York after Philadelphia, but he moved to New York pretty young.
Yeah.
I think like 98. He said he moved to New York.
Is it that early? You can't remember too. He's like almost 50. He has kids.
Yeah, like you know what this might be is a guy who heard Jay early on and is stuck in like that's how he feels about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe when Kev started getting opportunities, Jay was like, fuck, man, fuck him. Why is he getting these and I'm not? Maybe he was resentful of that. And just 25 years have gone by or 20 years have gone by, whatever. And Naeem's like, oh, he must be still the same guy.
Especially if it's your only job, it starts to become expensive. You know, you got to get paid a train or the toll if you drive and all of that. And when Kev started to succeed, he was just like talking shit about him. Not even fucking funny, just short and black. You know, you say shit like that.
I just don't. I don't really believe that.
No way.
I don't really believe Jay is like he's not funny. He's just short and black. That's why he gets these opportunities.
He might start talking like that, you know, after the 10th time he's ignored.
It feels almost like Naeem heard Jay like kidding about Kevin.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is weird just because, and again, we don't know these guys. I only hear what Jay puts out on podcasts, so maybe privately he's different. But I've never gotten the sense that he's even really been resentful of even when Kevin got like super famous. I didn't get the sense that he was resentful of his success. I do like they would talk about him like Jay and Dan on the bonfire would goof on some of Kevin Hart's ads that seemed like disingenuous and stuff like that. Like some of the motivational stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, you're a fucking comedian. What is this?
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't get the sense it was like fueled by hate.
No way.
Hate him. So now, you know, for him to have to
well, for Kev obviously still like he put him on the stage.
Yeah, Kev
this guy is sharing our shock. He's like, but that can't be right.
What do you mean? Big Jay Oakerson?
And
I love that.
He's always trying to provide an opportunity. You know, Big J does have his own following and he's doing great. But
shout out Skanks.
I think that Big J did it for the opportunity itself, not to honor Kevin. So I
don't buy that.
No, that's true. I think that's true.
I don't think it's 100% why. I think it's both.
I think if they said, hey, we're having a night, you know, like the Kennedy Center Honors or something, but it's not going to be filmed, I think Jay would still go.
100%.
You know? Like if they, hey, we're just having a night to honor Kevin Hart and Jay was included, I think he'd be honored to be included in that. So I think he would go. But I do think he was particularly excited to do it because he knew how many people would be watching, and that's a massive career opportunity. And by the way, I would assume if Naeem says that's not why he did it, that's a little disingenuous.
I never heard of him until the roast.
Neither did I. That's a huge opportunity, and he did very well.
He did. The Chappelle comment, I was like, oh, no, don't do that.
That's why, I mean, whether it's Naeem Lynn, Cheryl Underwood, or Chelsea Handler, or Tony and Shane, they did it because it was a massive opportunity. They're not, Naeem might be like good friends with Kevin Hart, but like Chelsea Handler is not such good friends with Kevin Hart that she's like, it would be an honor for me in any form.
I know what I witnessed early in the game, and he could have changed. He may feel differently now, but his energy did not say so.
Well, you're talking like you know.
Yeah, because he's saying still. He's like, oh, he still hates Kevin. Now, maybe this is just how he reacted 25 years ago. So maybe there was a time, but here's the thing: Kev didn't get super famous till later. Like he got, 40-Year-Old Virgin, like a small part, or he starred in Soul Plane, and he had a role in like one of the Scary Movies and shit like that. He was a massive star early on.
40-Year-Old Virgin is what I think set him off, actually.
That's a very funny scene in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But no one walked away from 40-Year-Old Virgin going, did you see the new Kevin Hart movie?
No, people left 40-Year-Old Virgin and went, what if we had that, but for 90 minutes?
Yes. Hollywood certainly did. That definitely was a big opportunity. That might be, what's weird? It's probably like the last hilarious scene I've seen Kevin Hart in a movie.
It's the only one I can confidently say I thought was
Think of
funny.
another one. It's so crazy to me.
That can't be true, but it's the only one I can think
I'm sure it's not. But it's always been crazy to me that Kevin Hart's as famous as he is and turned down Tropic Thunder. It's like, how would he be? How big would he be then if he was in a great comedy?
He could add a great comedy to his resume.
Oh my god, that would really be something. Was at the end of that clip? I'm sorry.
Towards the end of that clip, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you're right, Craig. I'd be curious if Big J responds to that.
He tends to.
Yeah, maybe he already did. If he did on the this came out later in the week, so I don't think he did. But maybe he did on the bonfire, and I just missed it. But I didn't. If he did, was not aware of it.
And I'm guessing there's been no mention of the Story Wars thing.
No, not yet. But to be fair, they're still behind. The episode that came out the other night was in Los Angeles. They were still. It's before the roast. They're still at Netflix as a joke.
Oh, okay. I want to know so bad because that Timmy No Breaks clip doesn't really tell you much except that they really fucking hate what he did.
I know. We got to see it unedited, Lewis. Please, I'm begging you.
Or at least tell us. I don't even need to see it. Just tell us what happened.
Right? Yeah. Just message me what happened, and then I'll delete the message, and you can accuse me of lying or something.
Well, not even that. Like, if you want to cut it out of the episode, that's fine.
Yeah.
But explain what happened.
Right. All right. Is that it before the big finish?
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, just a reminder, I guess, to go to blindmike.net and verygoodshow.org. Support Very Good Show.
Please.
Let's get into the real topic of the day, the topic du jour, as they say over at Very Good Show. Joe Matarese. And this title, I'm annoyed at myself for telling you the title before the show. The title was Cons of Moving to Philadelphia and Why I'll Probably Never Move There. I'm not shitting. This is episode 4.
I mean, to be fair,
yeah,
he treats podcasts like British television with his one season and there's like 6 episodes and that's it.
True. He is a purist in that way.
Yeah.
He's a lot like Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's true. But Joe starts the podcast, for anyone new to this, Joe starts the podcast Road Back to Philly. Or Joe Matarese's Road Back to Philly. We haven't decided which.
The graphic on the screen right now is Joe Matarese's Road Back to Philly.
It's a good branding. It's important to get his name in there because it has such power.
He's pretty famous, as we'll find out later in this.
Oh yeah. So Joe Matarese starts the Road Back to Philly, and the whole premise is my wife doesn't want to move to Philadelphia. How do I make her? I sure would like to. And over the next 4.5 years, this is going to happen for 4.5 years till his daughter is out of high school. She's in like 8th grade now, going to 9th grade, I think. So 4.5 years, they're gonna either stay in their house or move to Philadelphia, which is about 2.5 hours away, give or take. And the podcast is us convincing him why he should or shouldn't move to Philadelphia. Episode 4 is why I'll probably never move there. So this better be the series finale, or I'm going to be pissed. Let's see here. Let's hear old Joe.
Yeah, folks, how are you? Welcome to another episode. Road Back to Philly. I guess you could call it Joe Matarese's Road Back to Philly. We got
what do you mean you guess? What do you mean you get? No, you guess. You made the show.
New shirt. Check it out. You could tell I was in the Philly area this weekend. Brand
looking at houses.
How can you tell he was in the Philly area, by the way? What's he holding up?
It's an Eagles shirt.
That doesn't mean you were in the Philly area.
That's yes, it does.
I'll tell you where they don't sell any sports memorabilia. New York City. Go to any of the stores there. You won't find a team outside of the tri-state area.
New Philly shirt.
Tri-state area.
Picture for the
Is the tri-state area Pennsylvania or Connecticut? It's Connecticut, right?
Yes.
And they say the tri-state area. Okay, yeah, all right, good. Good, thank God.
All there that I got over at the Rally House. That's where I got this too. We got this chain, Dan, in Philly called the Rally House, and it's just all Philly merch. So they have like a section for the Flyers stuff, section for the Sixers. Do you have one of those where you live?
We do.
That's Dan. Dan Dan Rubio.
Who is this? The producer?
Oh, he's a mush-mouthed fool. He's a bumbling moron, this producer. Yeah. I did not spend too much time on him. We don't have many clips of him. But boy, is he a nervous Nelly when speaking. He can't get a fucking word out.
Well, Joe's so famous.
That's true.
Over there in Utah, got a lot of love this week, Dan. You did.
I appreciate
a lot. So many people got a hold of me saying, I want to hear more about Dan. Like I like that this
How many? Yeah, Joe, we don't want to hear about you and your fucking never gonna happen pipe dream of a move. Let's talk about Dan.
I need some raw numbers on this. How many? So many people. To me, that would be hundreds.
The way he sounded.
So many people reached out to me and were like, more Dan. We need more Dan. I'm going to guess. I'm going to set the over-under at 1.5. What do you take, Craig?
So I was going to set it at 3.5.
Oh, I'm going way under.
But the reason I say this is he does have a core group of best friends that fucking gargle his cum left and right.
That's clearly does based on the voicemails that we'll get to.
That's what I mean. And if we go based on the voicemails, it's definitely going over.
By the way, the attendance at a Joe Matarese show or in his voicemails, if it were a TV show, you wouldn't believe it because you'd be like, why are there always random people from his life at these events? aren't there just random fans of comedy strolling in? Like, why is it always people he knew from yesteryear? But we'll get there.
Relationship, I guess people get a kick out of an older guy talking to a younger guy.
Joe's always got his finger so far off the pulse.
Yeah.
Joe is looking for a pulse in your elbow.
Yeah.
he's never got it down where he's like, that people must love our dynamic. They're like, you're 58 and I'm 58 and you're 34. Those aren't both middle-aged.
I gotta be honest. Joe's 58. He looks great for his age.
A lot of people say that. Yeah, no, we're not accusing Joe of, no shade at his looks. He's a handsome man.
And I think if he wasn't, because he seems driven until any adversity is in his way.
Yes, he's driven the way Michael Scott is with his GPS right into a fucking lake.
Yes. Next we got shitheads.
Oh boy, I hope that's not referring to us. Who are the shitheads? Joe's dealing?
It could be.
Well, that's great. That's why Dan and I click. We've been working together for how long? A couple of
2
years
now, I think.
About 2 years. And when someone's
on what else?
It's so funny. It's so funny hearing him be like, we worked together for 2 years. This guy's been filming Joe's podcasts for 2 years, and they're only now being released.
Oh my God.
So for the last 2 years, what he's been doing. Remember I said, do you remember this? I said the other podcast, three guys, one booth, which I think is still going on.
Sort of.
That's been recording for like a year.
And they're just putting out clips, right?
And they've put out clips on TikTok. So I've been like, what is this podcast? And I kind of I didn't even look that much into it because I was like, it must be one of these guys' podcasts. Joe must be doing someone else's podcast or radio show and is putting out clips of it. It turns out they were just filming a podcast and this poor schlub was cutting clips for it.
I think him doing the three guys in a booth thing is definitely the way he should go. He needs more than just himself.
Yes. When left to his own devices, he just has too much ADD. He doesn't know what he wants to talk about.
Yeah, and because no, they would have been like, "Hey, this might be a terrible theme for a show, and your wife does not want to go."
Yeah. Let's be very clear. None of it's great. But Joe is much better with the two guys that kind of bust his meatballs.
Yeah.
They break his brajol. He's better with those guys. It's actually a show that I could see people listening to more than whatever this is.
Normal, and they have kids. There's usually an easier, a lot of people in my past that have listened to my podcast, I've run through producers, podcast co-hosts, like you wouldn't believe, managers in my career, agents in my career, run through a lot of them. And, a lot of them were shitheads. That's why, you know how you can judge a guy when he's on the phone with his wife and he's not nice to her.
Yes.
You're like he does a podcast and passive aggressively tries to guilt her into moving for him.
Takes any shot possible. You know those shitheads that told me I shouldn't spend $100K on a special.
Those shitheads that are like, honey, isn't this good for my career? I don't really care if you have to take an extra train ride in and we rip you away from your parents and your sister and all your friends. It'd be good for me. Shitheads like that I'm talking about.
Yeah, if they move all that, the only thing that's going to be different is he's going to live a lot closer to his mediocre sets.
And I got to tell you, producers typically can be real, just pieces of shit, just deplorable, horrible scumbags, and still do a good job for you.
That's right.
That's what I always say.
Experience.
Just real nasty monsters. but sometimes the show gets up.
You gotta turn a blind eye.
That's right.
And you're just going, not only was he not nice to
by the way, that'll be the name of the documentary about me when you get popped for your
turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a title for this episode, and there we go.
Like cursing at her. He's doing it in front of me. Like that says a lot about a person. Had a lot of managers like that. Yeah. I had a nice guy manager early on, but I was too dumb to know that he was a good one. And I dropped him for a guy that made me a lot of money. I went money early on. It's all in my one-man show that I'm working on. But I went for the
fuck.
Yes. Okay, now we got something, boys.
Yes.
And unlike Stuttering John teased us with the idea of a one-man show.
He'll 100% do it.
Joe will do it. To Craig's point, the man is driven. So I am excited for this. And we learn, I forget if it's in this clip or a later one, but we learn the premise of this one-man show. And I'm very excited because Joe is going to revisit one of his great failures.
Yeah, Brando's calling him Stut Joe 2.0. But Joe can be funny.
Oh yeah, Joe can be. He's not an untalented. You cannot say he's bad at stand up.
No.
Now his special was mockable because
it was like
it was like a lot of trying to be Sebastian and stuff. But like he's not an untalented stand up. Like John is a bad stand. I mean, he's not a stand up. Like he's just an untalented stand up comedian. But Joe has something, and that's what makes Joe fascinating. Like I wish we could give Joe's ambition to some of the more entertaining characters like a John, because then they would see all the things they threaten, they would see through.
Really, the end of him, and I can't even say the end, but the big turning point was that Jim Norton, Artie, Cumia podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He was cruising and then just got way too sensitive with that and could have had fun with it and played into the fallout, and he didn't do any of that.
Never recovered.
The "my wife's a doctor" line sank him.
That's tough, yeah. And I think, part of that is I don't know that he had any more. Like he was kind of propped up. He got a lot of opportunity. Like he would open for Artie on the road and stuff like that. And I think, having Joe
I saw him open for Artie, and he was very funny. This was years and years ago.
There you go. But I think Joe Matarese just became such bad branding. Now, if you have Joe Matarese on a show now, it has to be like an interview about why people, make fun of him so much.
Right. I'd want to interview him and talk to him about when an idea pops in your head, do you just do it or do you like sift through them?
I'd like to interview him about Philly sports. What do you think about the Eagles, Joe? That's the problem is like, you're right. Like, that's the most interesting part of Joe is like, why do you do these things?
And if you're doing like the, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Okay.
Well, that is what he's doing, but he never sticks with anything long enough. But they're also bad ideas, so he shouldn't stick with them.
Well, this is a significantly better idea than that fucking Rocky podcast.
Craig, it's funny you say that. Keep that in mind. I don't think it's coming up right now, but tuck that away. You don't care for the Rocky podcast.
It was a tough idea.
Well, I'll give you a little tease. What if I could present you that podcast in one-man show form?
No.
That's all I'm going to say. Let's move on and we'll get there.
Development deal, and the good manager was trying to hold me back, and I fired him, and it was a mistake. If I would have thought long term, I would have stayed with him. But I went for the development deal with the network and took the money. It was hard not to.
I mean, listen, it's always a hard thing, when there's money placed in front of you and you're like, I don't know if I'm ever going to have another money like this.
You see what I mean? This guy's just a doofus.
Another money like this?
He's not capable of speaking.
He talks like I read super chats. Next we have.
So that's the other thing is like we were just talking. Joe had opportunities when he was young. Like he had a sitcom deal. He was on not even young. He was on America's Got Talent, like 10, not like 10 or 11, I think.
Is that what it was?
I think it was like 2015-ish. Like right before, I think that's kind of what sparked all the Red Bar and Porcelain stuff is Joe was going around on podcasts. He went on Jim and Sam, he went on Cumia, and he was talking about how he did well on America's Got Talent, and they edited it so it looked like he did poorly. And he went around like thinking that people were going to rally around him, and people just ended up making fun of his comedy.
That is hilarious.
I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, obviously. Porcelain did a great job of documenting all of it, but that was the start. That's where I started hearing Joe Matarese.
This is concentrated audience.
Okay, this is an interesting way. This is good PR. Now, some people might say I have a small audience. You look at other podcasts and you say this is a fairly small audience. I like to think of it as concentrated. It's just a small group that's so focused. They love me so much that they're all the adoration I need. And that's kind of what Joe has, I think.
Things are changing real fast for me right now. Like I always had like little followings in like places all over the country. But now to have it be concentrated, it's almost like orange juice concentrated, or when you buy something concentrated, it's like a thick.
They've all moved. What did they all move to Philly, Joe?
That's why I got to go there.
I used to have fans all around the country, and now they've been concentrated.
Yeah, I have a lot of fans in this one area, so I want to move there and oversaturate myself.
Yeah, just make it seem like they've been put into camps or something.
Sure.
It's now that it's concentrated in that South Philly or South Jersey or Philadelphia or the burbs outside of Philly. It's so
I like you're getting on a flight to Michigan. You're all ready to move. And you're sitting next to a random guy, and you get to talking. You're like, what are you going to Philly for? Oh, it's going to sound silly. Nah, go. We got a long flight. Go ahead. Tell me. What do you? You say you're moving to Philly. What for? He's just a guy. He's kind of the king of Philadelphia. He's just that's where all his live shows are. So I figure I have to move. And the other guy's like, you're not going to believe this. Me too.
Cherry Hill.
He pulls out his ID. It says Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
In that area that well, that's one thing that I kind of learned from doing this show and selling it out. Like I was just saying is I sold the 10% more, and how I said usually they don't show up. They did show up. So thank God the owner was cool. He goes, I have this many more seats. And then and then we had some walk-ins that paid cash.
Oh my God. Wow. This is kind of like like getting to listen to like Shane talk about blowing up. You know, it's like, wow, how do you deal from I saw Shane Gillis open for Dan Soder in 2018. Now he sells out 3 nights at the Boston Garden. Crazy.
It is crazy.
Unfortunately, Joe is talking about a room of 75 people.
Which is nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing to sneeze at all. But Joe is like, oh my God, I sold out a club with 75 seats. I should move here and do every night of the week. This is Joe's problem, is when he has some slight glimmer of success, or even like something like nearing success. You know, like if we did an event and sold out 75 seats, I'd be very satisfied. I wouldn't think this means I've got a career in live events.
We need to move to Rochester.
We're moving. We're moving now, Craig.
I'm in.
Pack up the van. We're moving.
I don't have the van anymore, unfortunately.
because oh well. It was taken by the government.
They're like, this is too obvious.
They're like, Craig, what are you doing? Come on.
We're doing this to help you.
A little on the nose. No, but you see, this is always Joe's problem, where he has like a minor success, and he's like, well, this is my life now. This is what I do.
Yeah. Because you would think he would avoid that area and maybe film a special there.
Correctamundo. Like, who's the last comedian I saw here? I'm trying to think.
Did you go see Tosh?
No, I didn't. But you know what? Let's even use Daniel Tosh. Daniel Tosh does sort of infrequent shows. He's sort of a shut-in. He's not out there a lot. And he was in Boston a couple weeks ago and sold out a big venue. I'm sure people were very excited to see old Daniel Tosh. Now, if Daniel Tosh starts doing a show every night in Boston, I think he'll still do pretty well for a while. Excitement would dissipate over time. People would still be excited. It's a chance to see Daniel Tosh. If Tosh moves to Boston and does a show every night here, and it's the same act over and over again, I think even a big star like Daniel Tosh, people would be like, all right, we get it.
Well, because he's not even going with the obvious arguments of like, I want to move to Philly, so I have access to Philly, I have access to New York, and I have access to Jersey. I can do shows all through there and work on my shit.
No, just Philly and South Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah.
Use the correct argument.
Yeah, but again, to keep with the Daniel Tosh analogy, Tosh sold out a venue with 5,000 seats. Might have been doing multiple shows, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't recall.
But that is a pool, even if no one else wanted a ticket. That's a pool of 5,000 people you're starting with.
Right.
I would assume you can also add a bunch of people that also wanted to get in that couldn't.
Right.
So that's the pool you're starting with if you're Daniel Tosh in this analogy. The pool you're starting with if you're Joe Matarese is 75 fucking people, Joe. Don't uproot your life for that. I'm trying to advise you here.
And then you'll tell a joke and you'll put out a clip of you going, that's my buddy from high school.
Right. But then you'll have a joke about that high school and you'll put it on TikTok and people will see it and be like, I got to go see Joe Matarese. And then you'll do the joke again. And they're like, oh, that's the joke he did from before.
It's not as funny this time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next we have super fans.
Joe, he always refers to his fans as super fans. And by that, I think by super fans, he means his uncles and cousins or girls he went to high school with.
Yes.
But he says super fans a lot. He's like, oh, these are super fans. It feels to me more like people you respond to on social media. and now they feel like they're kind of in on this with you. They're part of the scheme to move to Philadelphia.
I don't know about you, Mike, but when we were in Laconia, met a bunch of super fans.
Super fans. Or just people that know that I'm on the podcast with Kirk, so they know I do a podcast. I've never watched it, but they're like, hey, good job on Why Are You Laughing? Just because it's a thing they know.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, maybe the only negative of doing these highly concentrated, it's like usually when you do a show in front of 1,000 people, 500 people, even like a 250 seat venue, you get some super fans. But when you do a concentrated 70 seat venue that we promoted as an intimate show, dude, everybody that was there was basically a super fan. Like, so when I say super fan, they're seeing you for like.
Even that's not true.
No.
They're all rabid, diehard Joe Matarese fans.
Now, when you went to see Dat Fan,
Mhm.
you must be a super fan then.
That's right. Oh, the PH.
Yes.
Joe, yeah, you're right. There's some people that might see Joe with like a level of irony to it. Oh, this is the guy that used to get made fun of online a lot. But even like if they're fans, super fans should be. Tom Brady had super fans.
Yeah, the thing too with Joe Matarese in comparison with everyone else, I want him to succeed.
I want to like him. Every once in a while, he can be a dick the way he responds, but I don't know how I would respond if I was in Joe's situation. You know,
If there was 3 porcelain docs on me, I would probably kill myself.
Right.
So good for him.
So we don't know how we'd react. So Joe does react poorly, and that can be his problem a lot of the time, how he reacts to this stuff. But you're right. Like, there's an element of Joe where you want to root for him, and I think that's what this is. Like, Joe would look at this as hate. This is what I was talking about with Maron earlier. Everyone's in 2 piles. You're a super fan. Joe's defining it right now. You're a super fan, and you love and admire him and have a Joe Matarese poster on your wall. Or you're a hater and a troll. I'm a guy who's just watching what Joe is doing, and it's so ill-advised. And I don't think I know better than a lot of people. But I watch Joe and I go, Joe, you're so clearly doing the wrong thing. Please, heed my words.
Yeah, we get it. You're Italian. You like Rocky.
Yes. Look at Sebastian's career. The only Italians aren't in New Jersey. You can find other people around the country.
Anywhere where there's a mafia family, go do stand up there.
The 5th, 6th, 7th time. This is the thing that's also new for me with the concentrated fan base. They don't request bits from the audience. If they wanted to hear something,
like Coach HP. I want Coach HP to do more podcasts. I think he's discouraged because a lot of his videos legitimately get like single-digit views.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he stopped. I think he's looking at the wrong way. That's just an extremely concentrated audience. I think that's how we should look. We got guys, tell Coach HP you've got a concentrated audience. You've got to come back for them so they can focus on you more.
Media video, and I'm like, that's not a stand-up bit. It's not going to work on stage. They go, tell us about Woodcrest, where you live between Vito's and Winter Ford. And I'm like, well, that's
I refuse to believe that people are showing up and in earnest saying, Woodcrest, we want the Woodcrest bit.
No shot. If he knows, maybe there are people he knows.
I think they're his friend. I think they're people that went to his high school. Yeah. I just refuse to believe this is not Hot Pockets. This is not the machine bit or any of that shit. It's Joe has a bit about living near Vito's Pizza, and you're telling me 75 people are there chanting Vito's at him? I find it hard to believe as well.
That's just a fact that I told on social media, and everybody dove into it. And I used to say this over the years in my comedy career. I go, and I remember Bill Burr saying it once when he was just starting to get big. He would say, I'm
Hold
not
on.
huge.
Who wants to bet?
There's 1,000 people.
Go back. Who wants to bet this is a perfect comparison?
It's exactly right.
When you heard him say, I was talking to Bill Burr about this, who thinks they might be in entirely different situations? Who thinks it's going to be a perfect comparison?
I'm going with completely different.
I think you're wrong. I think it's going to be spot on. I think what Bill Burr is dealing with and was dealing with at age 40 when he started to blow up, I think this is going to be nail on the head, as Joe so usually is.
To be fair, Bill Burr did start screaming about Newton and Canton or whatever the fuck he's from.
And what did Bill Burr get famous for?
Philly rant.
You're damn right.
Wow.
So maybe I'm onto something here. I think this is going to be right on the head.
Starting to get big, he would say, I'm not huge, but there's 1,000 people that will come and see me in every city that I go to.
So
and that's really
okay. Yep. That's a good way of looking at it. Like, hey, I'm not huge, but when Bill Burr started getting an audience, he's like, I'm not massively known. Most of the people that are in this state won't have even known I'm there, but there's 1,000 people that are going to be really excited to see me. That's a good way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
It is, however, slightly different.
by like about a zero.
Then 75 people in one city want to see him.
So you move to that city, not just go do a show there.
Hey, yeah. And by the way, Bill Burr didn't go like, hey, there's 1,000 people in Memphis that want to see me, so I'm moving there.
Yeah. I like to think that he did do that.
Yeah, he sold out a show once in Los Angeles, and he's like, I guess I'm an LA guy now.
I'm gonna be here for the rest of my life.
That's what I like better than, because I'm getting a little taste of it, because something you learn when you do these little venues, when there's no green room, Dan, and there's nowhere to go, and you got these people that have seen you 7, 8 times, and they are so locked into your social media. Like, I thought people were locked into a podcast and a podcast fan, that you had a really intimate relationship with them.
Sure.
When you have a relationship with them through Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, those are my 3 spots that are my main ones. I'm literally.
I thought social media was intimate, but then when you play Mario's Grill and Restaurant in West Philadelphia, that's where things really come into focus for you.
It wasn't until the people started commenting on my family reunion photos.
No, that's intimate. That's exactly, you know what, Craig? You were right. Spot on. That's exactly what Bill Burr was saying. I forget which one of us was right, but one of us was right. That's just like what Bill Burr was saying.
That's what Bill Burr. We know everything about Bill Burr's family life. They're basically the same person.
1,000 people in every city Bill goes to is roughly 100,000 people.
It's a lot.
Versus 75 human beings.
Half of which you're related to. And if you're not actually blood related, your kids still call them aunt and uncle.
Yes, exactly.
I'm, in this intimate venue where I'm trying to set it up. They don't even care. They walk right up to you and they're like, did you get the cheesesteak that I recommended that you go get down the street from here? I'm like, I'm setting up. It's hilarious. I'm at the.
Yeah, I didn't mean right this second, Joe. I meant while you were in town.
Hey, dickhead. Oh, Mr. Celebrity. We've known each other for 15 years. I can't ask if you've tried the cheesesteak.
It's like, don't you see I'm busy? It's like, I didn't mean right now, Joe.
That's like, by the way, because we did like when KMS would do small shows in like Magnolia.
Mm-hmm.
I was there, and it was at a restaurant, and I was there with Dave and Justin, or not Dave. Yes, Dave.
Dave was there.
Yeah, Dave and Justin while they were setting up. I forget because Steve showed up at that one, so it was confusing.
That's true. That was the first time back, I think.
Yes. But when Dave and Justin were setting up, I'm there at the restaurant, and people would walk up and talk to me, of course, and it would be like, hey, I'm focused on the show here. Listen, scumbag. I know you're one of 40 people here at a restaurant in Magnolia, Mississippi, but I am laser focused. Don't you see I have my headphones on and my hood up like I'm Eminem getting ready for a rap battle?
We see, sir. I can't actually. Next, we have exciting reveal.
Okay.
Now we're getting there.
So he mentioned the one-man show. What's it going to be about?
I'm going to hate this so much. Aren't I?
Oh, I think you'll like it.
I wondered if that was going to be the case because here's at the end of the day, you have a big enough following though, Joe, that it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, if you have a really solid, 1,000 people that will always, this is the thing with any business, right?
Okay. We found the problem.
Oh my God.
Well, you're just referring to his talking, right?
What's he saying?
Unintelligible. Well, I'll decipher for you.
Okay.
This enabler is the one saying to Joe, "Hey man, you're spot on. If you have 1,000 people that like you, you can milk them dry and have them see you every time you play a show."
It's Always Sunny owes this guy money because this is Charlie's character, but in real life.
He is a little Charlie-esque.
Day or later time.
You have that core people, they will
The echo is on his end, right?
It's on everything.
Okay, I hear a little echo from him, but I can't tell if that's the clip or if that's us.
That was the only thing we didn't do because we weren't sure how to do it in a small setting. How do you do a VIP ticket? Because in theaters, I'll do the front 200 seats or VIP. They cost usually $10 or $15 or $20 more than the regular ticket, and you get a meet and greet. And those.
When I'm playing the Beacon, that's how I usually do it.
What's a Joe Matarese meet and greet look like? Everyone that has the ticket, he knows by name.
Hey, did you try the cheesesteak here?
And he's like, "Fuck you."
I'm setting up. But I like Joe kind of casually being like, "Listen, when I do the rhyming, it's obviously a little different than some of these more intimate venues."
When I'm doing Red Rocks.
Show was like it was all meet and greet. It wasn't meet and greet in a room. It was meet and greet in the theater, and they show up an hour and a half early too.
Yeah.
So I'm walking through the door, and they're like, now I have no voice left because I'm a nice guy. I will talk to my fans like they're my friends because they feel more like friends than fans when you do this social media thing.
What he's really saying is, I talk to my cousins like they're my friend.
That's tough, Joe. Just stop.
Yeah, listening to Joe talk about his meteoric rise. And listen, Joe, I'm not shitting on you. That's cool to you sold out a gig. That's not nothing. Good for you. Congratulations. And I mean that genuinely. But now to talk about this rise, Joe always gets so far ahead of his skis.
Mm-hmm.
Joe skis without the poles that you need. He's just way out in front.
He's got no balance because there's no poles.
He's always his mind is at the bottom of that hill. His mind is in the lodge with a nice cup of cocoa. Yet he's still at the tippity top of the mountain.
It's a good place to be mentally.
Because you interact, you DM them back, they DM you, they ask you a question, you answer it. Next thing you know, they're your buddy, and you're like, "Fuck, should we be going out to eat? Should we all be going out to eat after the show? Should we all go to the diner?"
You know how annoyed I would be, or not? I would be. Do you know how annoyed, like, box eating dad would be if I just started showing up at his family meals? I'm like, "Hey, we're all going out tonight, right?"
And videotaping his house and telling everyone how shitty it is.
He's like, "Jesus, man, there's a line."
That's still like my favorite Joe Matarese thing of all time. He goes to his buddy's house, films it without permission.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot
It's
about
all
that.
over it. Like, why would you do this?
While he's in the guy's hammock.
Yeah. He has a beautiful outdoor kitchen setup, and he's like, "This is trash."
Yeah, I think this is Joe's problem: is viewing his fans like you can treat them like human beings, of course. you can engage with them and that, but like to go to the level of like, hey, would you mind if I use your shower? That's a little much.
But was it a good show?
The show was really good. There was some, because it was BYOB. I think that makes people drink.
Where are you doing shows, Joe?
At some fucking Dago restaurant.
Oh my God.
A little more at times. So there were some people, they know who they are. They were in the front. They were chatty. They're nice. They're super fans. They've come 5 times. And I'm real with people. Like I won't lie if I don't remember you.
Woodcrest. Come on, guys, settle down, please. I'll get to the Woodcrest bit.
Yeah, relax.
People walking outside of the Italian restaurant just hear the walls shaking. What is that?
What is this Woodcrest, and how do I become a part of it?
What do we get?
I totally remember them, but I never remember names. Like I knew the one guy as the really tan guy. This guy's so tan, his teeth go bing, like they just glisten. This tan guy shows up a lot with his tan wife, and they're really nice.
Yeah, when you're here, I treat you like a friend. Look at you 2 orange goblins.
The tan guy and his tan wife.
That's how I treat my friends. And Joe will say at one point, I forget if we have the clip or not, but he says he doesn't have a single friend in New York. That's why he wants to move to Philly.
That was last episode, I think.
Okay, maybe, yeah. He's like, I don't have any friends in New York, so I got to move to Philadelphia. And it's like, maybe this is why you don't have friends, because you're like, I treat these people like friends. Old what's his name and his orange wife.
No, because unless he says it again, but the last time we did this, which was the last 2 weeks ago, he's like, I don't have any friends here. And then one of the voicemails, he's like, this is one of my best friends. He lives 2 houses down the street.
It is very childish where Joe is literally going, Mom, I don't even have any friends here. And Joe's wife has to be like, I know, honey, but this is where we live.
It's like, but you do.
Well, Joseph, this is where I work, okay? So you're going to have to maybe make some friends, you know? Maybe the guy whose garage you go to and bitch about me, he could be your friend.
If he's actually done that in his own garage, though. To be fair. He's bitched about his wife. He's like, "This is my garage."
Yeah.
But they're so nice that they think you're in a conversation with them while you're performing. And Dan, I had no cards in my hand because I'm working on the road back to Philly. I'm working on the one-man show that has and I tell the audience, I'm working on this one-man show called Raised by Rocky.
Yo, please.
What?
Do you think that makes you unique that you liked fucking Rocky?
No one's ever heard of it. Guys, for those of you that what Craig's talking about, there was a movie, Sylvester Stallone. He wrote and starred in the movie. He actually had a tough time getting it made because he wanted to star in it. That was a whole sticking point. But it's a movie about this boxer.
No. Only he knows about that.
Oh, right. Sorry.
How dare you?
Sorry, I don't want to spoil the one-man show. Raised by Rocky. Yeah, you don't think that makes him unique? That he watched the movie Rocky and enjoyed it?
Oh my fucking God. What was on the cutting room floor? Raised by Star Wars?
No, the Sopranos, actually.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, so Raised by Rocky. Let's hear him describe what the show is going to be. It's very subtle, as you'll hear. You probably can't tell from the title what the show is going to be about.
That's so infuriating.
Connection to Rocky, not a strong connection to Rocky.
Okay, go back. I was we talked over a very important point. Please go back a little bit.
One-man show called Raised by Rocky. It has a subtle connection to Rocky, not a strong connection to Rocky.
I'm sorry. What was the title?
Yes, I mean, it's subtle. It's the title of the fucking show, Joe.
And he'll go on to talk about some of the elements in it. Subtle would be if Rocky's name was never mentioned.
I think a fun one-man show from him would be to explain his career and how, because he had the fall and his wife and everything, and just their relationship could be an interesting story.
Here's Subtle. Joe does a one-man show about his life. And he talks about kind of being an underdog that had no respect, that was made fun of and mocked. And in the end, he doesn't really win, but he finds his version of winning. And the show is entirely about his wife. And then I lean into the skirt when we're done applauding, and I go, that was subtly like Rocky. That's subtle. What Joe has planned is such a lack of subtlety. By the way, if the title didn't give that away, he goes on to give some information about the show. And to Craig's point, you couldn't have picked, other than The Sopranos, you couldn't have picked more of like a. Actually, I take that back. In Philly, it is the example of like a half. Like Italian reference.
There's a statue of a fictional character in the city.
He wants to move to Philly, and he's like, I think it'd be very subtle. I don't think anyone would even pick up on it, really. If I do a show called Raised by Rocky, and people will think, I don't know, what is that, Rocky and Bullwinkle? Who knows? It could be anybody.
Raised in Woodcrest. That's a better title.
Yes. Raised in, or if there was some vague illusion, retards love the zoo, something like that. some vague allusion to Rocky where, unless you're a diehard fan of the movie, you might not even notice it. But true fans realize, like, oh, that's a line from Rocky. I see where he's going with this. Like, that's subtle. Raised by Rocky is anything but.
It's subtle, but there is a connection. And I say to them, it's got some deep moments. And I even asked the crowd, do you even know what a one-man show is? And you know what?
Oh, I like this. Hold on. Hey, what you're about to watch, it's very deep. And people have to go, ooh. Usually you don't warn. Well, The Godfather, I'll go down Joe's lane. Godfather is a very deep film.
Mm-hmm.
On the surface, you just go, it's a mafia movie. It's blood and shooting and violence. It's just gangsters, Of course, it's much deeper than that. It's about family and relationships and society, the government. It's about a lot of different things. Very deep. At the beginning, Francis Ford Coppola, to my knowledge, I haven't seen, the version they do where they put it all in like chronological order?
I forget what it's called, but yeah, 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yeah. They put that all like chronologically. So I haven't seen that version. Maybe in that version at the beginning, Francis Ford Coppola comes out and goes, what you're about to see is very deep. Prepare for depth. Have your life preservers on.
I changed the name of this film to Raised by Carlo Gambino.
No, it would be more like if The Godfather was called like Conflicted Mafia Man. Humans are complex.
I even asked the crowd, do you even know what a one-man show is? And you know what? A lot of people don't know what a woman. They think they know.
I forget how much smarter Joe thinks he is than everyone. Remember, we've heard Joe talk about this in the past where he's like, oh, wait a minute. This flies in the face of that. Hold on a second. Joe always talks about how his audience is like, here's the unfortunate thing. Here's why I don't sell a ton of tickets. It's this curse I have where I only appeal to really smart people. Really, like the top 1% of intelligence gets my humor. Nobody else does. So these people are so fucking smart. These brainiacs go to a Joe Matarese show and Joe's like, I'm doing a one-man show. And they're like, huh? What is that? They put down their rubber chickens and the arrow through their head. They're like, what?
That's a fucking hilarious image.
One man, me no one man show.
They all sit down slowly onto their whoopee cushions.
Huh? A one man. Now, Joe, what could that be? It's not self-explanatory. You're gonna have to dumb it down for us.
Surely there's going to be like 7 or 8 people.
Yes, you're up there with a bunch of your buddies. Give it to me straight.
A lot of people don't know what a woman. They think they know.
Yeah.
I'll go, what one man show did you see? And this one woman goes, I saw Matt Rife. I'm like, he does all crowd
I
work.
gotta
That's
say,
not a one man show. That's just
there have been a lot of things here that I'm not particularly surprised by. Joe Matarese and Matt Rife having crossover. Somewhat surprising.
That's stunning. Bill Burr, Matt Rife.
Yeah. He's in that echelon.
I need Joe to start a new podcast called the Joe Matarese Experience. Let's continue here.
Please.
a stand-up show.
Yeah.
So I had to explain it to them. It's like a play, but it has a beginning and a middle and an ending. It's one guy, he might play all the parts of all different
it's like a play, but it has a beginning, middle, and end. Unlike plays. That's where it differs from plays.
people in his life story.
I don't even like
I have some serious moments.
Sorry, I keep interrupting. I guess that's true, but like, would you say Colin Quinn's shows have like a beginning, middle, and end, or is it like one through line? There's not a climax to Colin Quinn shows.
One-man show, a solo performance, sometimes referred to as a one-man show, one-woman show, or one-person show, features a single person telling a story for an audience, typically for the purpose of entertainment.
Right. But yeah, so I guess in that way it has a beginning, middle, and end. The fact that it's a story.
I don't think Joe Matarese knows what a one-man show is because he's defining a play.
Yes, it's a 3-act play.
A one-man show is like, it's essentially the exact same setup as stand-up, but it's not sole purpose is to make you laugh.
Yeah, Ari Shaffir Jew was a one-man show. Anything
Dave Chappelle the last 15 years.
Well, no, but my point is, it can make you. I would take the laughing thing out of it. It can be
it's comedy. Its sole purpose isn't to make you laugh. Is what I mean.
Oh yes, yeah, I got you. Yeah. Like Jew is a one-man show.
Yes.
Colin Quinn's last 5 specials, one-man shows.
Berbiglia.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
It's gonna have a lot of funny. I said because I'm a stand-up comedian. So even when I told them some serious stuff at this show Friday night, it would get funny very quickly, just accidentally, and that's the kind of laugh I like when you get really real.
I go to tell this audience a serious story about my life, and they laugh at me.
So then I meet Mike David.
And you reveal something, and then it has a little bit of a funniness to it and a punchline at the end. That's the best. So,
well, we got it, Joe. How dumb does he think we are?
Pretty dumb.
A one-man show. Hold on, let me try and wrap my brain around this. What were you saying?
This next segment is long, and I think you're looking forward to this one.
I am, yeah.
This is Joe's ex.
This is a wild journey Joe takes us on. This is like, I don't even really know. Like, if this happened to me, I don't think I would tell it on the podcast. I don't even know that I would tell it in my home life. I think I'd just maybe bottle it up and keep it to myself, because Joe seems to have some fantasies here that I don't know where he's going with this. But Joe has a very interesting, and you talk about intimate, nothing more intimate than the interaction he's about to describe.
Yeah. So I see this name, and I recognize the name is a girl I dated in high school's married name. And
she's imagining a Bobby Darin song playing right now. What is Frankie Valli playing in the background?
What does he mean by that?
What do you mean?
I don't know if I just misheard what he said.
So he looks at the ticket list. He's selling the tickets himself.
So she got tickets to his show.
And he sees, what is this name? Well, that name brings all sorts of butterflies back into my tummy. What is this?
Okay.
Me on Facebook because she saw a post. Dan, you'll remember. It was from our podcast. I told some story about how her dad told me to go back in the bowling alley with a tire iron.
Okay. Yeah. Oh,
she had the mobbed up dad.
Yeah.
So we'll just say her name was Lisa. She was mob.
My entire life, I wanted to become a gangster. We're watching Joe's one-man show.
It's just mob movie quotes. He goes back in with a tire iron, and everyone's like, "You popped your cherry."
Dated her in high school. She went to Cherry Hill West. I went to Cherry Hill East. I went to her prom with her. Brought her to Catholic ceremonies even though she was Jewish, and there was so many jokes about her.
Meyer Lansky's daughter? Who was this? This was a mobbed up Jew?
Guys, got to be honest with you. This is kind of proving his point's not true.
How so?
You know what? There's no Jews allowed in the mob.
Could be Jewish mafia. Meyer Lansky.
No, I know that, but like
Siegel.
No, I know all of them, but
I'm talking to the host of Rubbed Out here, for God's sake.
I know that. I know those people, but they're not in the mob.
Interesting. Mobbed up, though, I think he said. It does seem very. I'm stereotyping. You don't think when he said her dad told me to go in there with a tire iron, was anyone thinking Jewish guy?
No.
Well, maybe that's a commentary on society. I'm sure he'll get into that in the one-man show.
Lifetime as a comedian that she never.
But like that would be good for the one-man show, is a story like that.
Yeah, stop telling it on the fucking podcast.
Yes.
Got to hear because we broke up when I was 18 and I didn't start stand-up till 19. And I don't know what of my career she had seen. You don't know like what an ex-girlfriend is watching about you or anything.
Probably a big fan of the porcelain documentaries. Probably nothing, Joe. No, to be fair to Joe, I'm sure if you dated a guy and he becomes a comedian, he's on Howard Stern and he gets on NBC, stuff like that. I'm sure it made it back. I'm sure she's aware in some way.
Yeah. I mean, if someone, makes it from your area, you kind of know.
Yeah.
You're not as old as me, Dan, but I saw her once since we dated in high school, but it was for like 5 minutes in Atlantic City. I think we bumped into each other for a second and then she left. So this was the first time really like we hung out. So if you really do the math, it had been 40 years since we used to date. 40 fucking years, right? I don't know. I bet everybody.
Don't tell my wife, but she looks fucking good.
Hold on. Getting ahead of yourself.
Nuh-uh.
I mean, we'll see.
Fucking idiot.
We'll see.
Why doesn't my wife want to do things that I like?
Out here can relate to that when you get older. When you bump into someone you haven't seen in 30, 40, 50 years, and usually their voice clicks into your memory bank. But it didn't, though. It didn't. I was like, she doesn't sound anything like I remember. Maybe I just don't remember. And then I realized, I went, do you still smoke? I'm like, you smoked when we dated. She's like, yes, still smoke. And I was going, oh my God, like I've never dated anyone that was a smoker except for her in like my whole lifetime.
Strange detail to include.
That probably altered her voice, maybe. And she didn't have one. She didn't come up to me like, hey, Joe, we had a relationship.
It was a beautiful voice.
That's exactly what she sounded like.
A beautiful smoker's voice.
Yeah, I never heard anyone do that impression either.
Well, it just sounded different, right?
Oh, okay.
And it was funny. She's like, how come you're not telling me I look great? So she kept saying, how come you're not telling me? I'm a married man. I can't say that to you. I can't tell you. You look amazing. You look beautiful. Yeah. Can you say? I guess you can if you say it the right way.
No, it's a recipe for disaster, Joe. I'm going to tell you right now.
Is it?
Nowhere, no.
Don't do it. You made that mistake.
That's just That's just a written rule. You don't talk about other.
It's an unwritten rule, you dumbass. And
it's a written rule. He is a marble-mouthed dope, this guy.
You know what? Change the name of the show and there might be something here.
But by the way, not to get too into this argument, but I could definitely see a girl I'm friends with now, where I could say, "Oh, you look great."
That's different.
Well, I'm not hard while I'm saying it. I guess that's the difference.
He's like, I want to tell you so bad, but you
I'm not going, "Ooga."
She's doing like the whole, like, why don't you tell me I look great? Like as a joke, I bet. And he's like, I'm married, which means he wants to fuck her.
Humana.
Women, when you're not around with your wife,
You look the same. Like she really looks the same to me.
There we go.
Bizarre. She always had a very youngness
So
too.
she looks like, apparently she's got an 18-year-old ass on her. Looks exactly the same as when Joe was dying to fuck her.
Here in 40 years. And then those people that were in the front that were a little chatty, she comes up to me after the show, and I forgot this about her. She's like, she's tough. I forgot that she was like,
what do you mean you forgot? Her dad said you should have gone back in with the tire iron.
Yeah, but her dad died when she was 16. He died right after. He died at the end of our relationship.
Okay, this is incredible.
Yes, go ahead, because I don't know if we're about to say the same thing.
Oh, I don't know. I doubt it, because I'm just going to tell you what's about to happen.
Well, can I say something real quick?
Please.
He said they dated when he was 18.
Yep.
He just said she died when she was 16, the dad. So that tire iron story is horseshit.
Interesting.
Am I wrong?
I don't know how specific he was about the timeline. Because he said 18. He's like, oh, we haven't seen each other in 40 years. But then I think later he says like more than 40.
Oh, okay.
So he might not have been too specific about the ages. But we are now about to embark on a journey that would bond two people together so closely that I kind of can't believe the ending of the story.
So we had all this drama we went through in the relationship. So I always felt a connection to her. Her dad died when I was dating her, and her brother died while I was dating her. Not only did her brother-in-law die while we were dating, the brother-in-law died the day after her sister had his kid. So I had to be in the hospital.
What?
The brother-in-law died right after having his kid. So her sister had a kid, and then the sister's husband died.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. When he was pronounced dead, he was in his 20s.
Crazy.
Died of a drug overdose, and then I have to go upstairs in the same hospital and tell her sister that her husband died downstairs while she's holding her 1-day-old baby. I was with the whole family when they.
For some reason, Joe was tasked with delivering this news.
And he was like, I got to leave this family.
This, by the way, is the one-man show.
That's what I'm saying.
This is compelling.
I'm in, Joe. Do this stuff. Please don't name it fucking Raised by Rocky.
Raised by Rocky. But why? So, first of all, I want to know, why was Joe the one that had to deliver that message? What was that like? This is all ripe for a one-man show.
News.
That's crazy.
We're all bawling together, and it was just an insane time in my life, to date a girl and have two people die, and then the dad died, I think, after we broke up. So I'm on stage talking about how I've been.
Now I'm very confused. The dad died first.
Yep.
He's like, I was with her when the dad died. And now I'm very confused.
Get the storyline in order, Joe, and then you got a show.
Yeah, lie about it. Who can't figure it out? Just right. The other version is better. If the dad dies while you're dating, Joe, that's my note. We're gonna Hollywood this up a little bit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The dad dies while you're dating.
All these years, and it's really worked for me, and I'm connecting my therapist to kind of Mickey and Rocky, and I'm kind of.
Hey, hold on, I want to go back a little bit.
God, Joe, let it fucking go.
That's the subtlety. Can you imagine a guy talking about his therapist, and then I was like, yo, doc, cut me. and being like, I don't know, this is subtle. What is this about?
He's gonna be like, they cut me emotionally. Oh man, Joe, don't do it.
My therapist was like, you're gonna massacre him.
So after the show, Dan, she comes up to me and she goes, I think I'm going to ruin all your therapy. I didn't know what she was going to say when she said
hold on, go back. I think we skipped over something. Could you go back a little bit?
That's crazy. We were all bawling together, like, and it was just an insane time in my life, you know, to go to date a girl and have two people die. And then the dad died, I think, after we broke up. So I'm on stage talking about how I've been in therapy all these years and it's really worked for me. And I'm connecting my therapist to kind of Mickey and Rocky. And I'm kind of telling the story of my life. So after the show, Dan.
So he says at one point, and maybe it'll be in one of these clips, but I just want to get to it now. He says at one point they broke up like a week or two later. And it's just amazing to me. They have this incredible moment. Like that's wild that you're delivering the news to a family. You have to tell your girlfriend's sister that the father of her newborn died, and you're all holding each other and weeping together. And it's this incredibly sad, I mean, feelings that a lot of people don't even feel through the course of their lifetime.
All in 1 week.
And then a couple weeks later, you're like, all right, I got to go find some new trim. See you, sweetheart.
I need to find a breadwinner.
I gotta look for a doctor.
She comes up to me and she goes, I think I'm going to ruin all your therapy. I didn't know what she was going to say when she said that. I go, what do you mean you're going to ruin all the therapy I've done? She goes, I think I have the answer. And I'm like, what? She goes, I just want you to know something. It was really sweet that she said this. She goes, you're enough. And I go, oh, what? She goes, you're enough. It was me. I fucked up. And I go, I actually said to her, I go, you didn't need.
The producer put a photo of Goodwill Hunting when Robin Williams and Matt Damon hug.
That's fun.
It's just been up on the screen. Won't go away.
Not your fault.
Yeah.
But here's the one-man show, and it ends with
it. This is fucking it.
It ends with Joe leaving his wife for this lady, obviously.
Say that because I'm older now. At the time, it really hurt that she dumped me. We never had sex. We dated a year without sex, and I had sex with one girl before her. She was a virgin when we were dating.
Slap it high, my man.
So I knew how awesome it was.
I wasn't some fucking virgin loser. I was being a gentleman.
This is literally the first act of this one-man show, Joe.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he spoiled it.
I don't think so.
Let's hope the good people of Woodcrest don't hear this.
Yeah.
And then she lost her virginity to the next guy who was a huge asshole, right? Typical shit that girls do when they're 16, fall in love with an asshole guy. And she goes, you're enough. I said, you can stop right now. You were too young to date somebody. She goes, you were the nicest boyfriend. And I just want you to know that. And I said, you were too young to.
I mean, is there any doubt this lady was trying to fuck?
This night? If this is true, yeah.
I mean, this is clearly, she went to this show with the intention of fucking Joe Matarese.
And by all accounts, it sounds like she went alone.
He'll get to that. He'll throw in a reason that it's not nefarious in any way.
If she went there with a date or a husband, she definitely was trying to fuck.
Yes, she was single.
Be with a really nice guy, and you broke up with me for a shithead. Even my wife, whose PhD got her life together, doesn't seem to have any issues. My wife even dated shitty guys when she was young. Like I look at,
and she doesn't get me. Now she, of course, stopped marrying shitty guys. You know, it's not like she married some low life.
He's low key being like, this lady has a better outlook on life than my wife does.
1,000,000%. He's saying this lady has given him the validation he's been seeking since he was a boy.
Like she'll show me pictures. Guy'll have tattoos all over his arms and face. I'm like, that was your ex-boyfriend? She'll be like, yeah. And that's just what it is. So it was really sweet.
That you fucking whore, and he puts his hands on her.
say that to me. And she goes, you want to go get something to eat after this? And it's like, our voices hurt by the end of the night because there's 40 years of catching up to do.
Because I was shoving so much down her throat.
Oh man. Is he stupid?
The wine is flowing. We're laughing.
He went out to dinner with her after?
Well, he's going to give you the reason that it wasn't weird.
With her, everybody, if you're thinking, I just went out.
We stepped on it.
And, that's just what it is. So it was really sweet that she was able to say that to me. And she goes, you want to go get something to eat after this?
Our
voice.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. I didn't know if you went back.
That she was able to say that to me. And she goes, you want to go get something to eat after this? And it's like, our voices hurt by the end of the night because there's 40 years of catching up to do.
Sure.
And she had her cousin with her, everybody. If you're thinking, I just went out with the girl from high school. She had her cousin who was also good friends with us back when we were younger. And she was like bringing all these memories back. So it was, it was a cool night.
Two women that I reminisced with.
Oh, man. How did that call go? Hey, hon, my ex is here and wants me to go out to dinner with her.
No. Her hot cousin is with her.
Oh,
Joe. And by the way, I'm sure nothing happened.
I'm sure. Yeah, there was a witness. That's why.
I'm sure Joe's a loyal guy, but boy, is this a romantic story. Here's the thing. Of course, it's not wrong to catch up with an old friend. Nothing. It seems like by Joe's telling the story, nothing bad happened here. But also by Joe's telling of the story, it really seemed like he wished it had.
Yeah, I know.
This is an incredibly romantic story. This is not how you would, if you met up with an old girlfriend, you wouldn't come home to the wife and say, yeah, I mean, she validated me in this way that I've just never felt emotionally. And we were out so long, our throats hurt by the end of the night. It was a deep emotional connection. Don't worry. Her female cousin was there, who we also have a connection with.
Some might call that a pro for moving back to Philly.
Oh, this is big pro for Jersey, Philly area.
Well, let's get into some Philly cons.
Okay. Well, as I said, the title of this episode was why I'll probably never move to Philly. Now, as we just heard, the real reason he will probably never move back to Philly is just it's a swamp of pussy for him. Temptation would be at an all-time high.
Now, we talked about road back to Philly and where I should live in Philly. That came up. I think that was the first episode, and a lot of people.
Yes, establishing the groundwork.
No shit. I think that was we didn't get into it until episode 3. Should I move back to Philly?
Well, knowing him, he probably filmed 14 episodes before they released one.
True.
Well, recommending all these different areas, and people are still, they're still sending voicemails in for that. I'm like, that was like 6 weeks ago. Like,
we're over that.
Why wouldn't he use them?
Because he's so over it, guys. Come on. You're telling me why I should move to Philly on the Road Back to Philly podcast? That's so 4 weeks ago.
Guys, it's not going to happen. Move on.
This is episode 4. What are you obsessed with moving to Philly for?
The new things now. So this week it was, we want some cons. What are the negatives of living in Philly? And Dan and I made a list.
I got one. Your wife and family don't want to move there. Is that? No, that doesn't come up. Okay.
Ooh, I got one.
Go ahead.
Your wife's high-paying profession is currently where you currently are.
No, that doesn't come up either. No, that's not on the list of cons. Sorry.
I got about 4 of them. I don't know how many you got, Dan.
I got 4.
You got 4 also. This is.
Hold on. How does this idiot know?
Well, maybe he's going to go with the route that we're going.
He lives in fucking Utah. Bob, boy, I'll tell you, he doesn't.
He's like, gas prices.
He lives in fucking Utah. The producer chiming in on this is as valid as you or me chiming in on it. This is not a discussion for any of us to have.
No, my first one, and this is they're in no order, everybody.
No particular order.
Oh, you didn't rank them.
One of my fears, if I moved back to South Jersey or the Philly area, that it wouldn't be artsy enough like I like.
Oh no! God damn it, Joe!
They won't get him. They won't get him there. Do you know, Craig? Put yourself in Joe's shoes here.
Yep.
Well, look up for me real quick the population of Greater Philadelphia. We can include the suburbs and stuff if you'd like. But just Greater Philadelphia population. Give me that.
6.33 million people.
Okay. Do you have any idea how long it would take to explain to each of them what a one-man show is?
That's true.
It's fucking exhausting, Craig. Do you have no concept of time?
That's a great point. I didn't think of that.
That would be endless, frankly. So I think that's Joe's concern, is I'm going to have to tell all these Neanderthals how a one-man show works.
So I'd have to be very strategic. I'd have to find where is a more artistic area where you get a lot of musicians, writers, people that are into that shit. And
what the fuck is he talking about?
I'll tell you. Joe's going to take his doctor wife and move her in an apartment above a cafe where screenwriters are working on the next big film.
notice in New York, when you live in New York, because you're close to Manhattan, which is the Big Apple, and actors and famous actors and famous musicians, they all live there. And there's a lot of famous venues, Carnegie Hall and the Beacon. And I'm trying to think of other, just tons of famous music venues in New York, and the comedy clubs, the Comedy Cellar, the Comedy.
I gotta tell you, Joe, you don't live that close to those either.
No, you don't.
Westchester into the city, I hear, is a pain in the ass drive.
How artsy the vibe is. So that's one of mine that I wouldn't get that down there, especially if I lived in South Jersey. Some people would say, no. If you lived in Collingswood, it's kind of an artsy area there.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's Collingswood. That's where all the art. That's where Banksy lives.
This guy who bases his whole life off the movie Rocky is like, I need art.
I'm a misunderstood artsy. The girl from high school gets it, Craig. You don't get it, you fucking dickhead.
I don't get it.
Man, what they were saying about guys like you at that dinner. But I like the idea that Joe's going to move to Philly and be like an old school jazz cat. Like, hey, daddy-o.
Gay area, which is good. That's good. Like people make fun of me, but like if it was a gay, I want to live in a gay area. Those are my favorite areas.
Where there are no ex-girlfriends.
Holy shit.
Gay as far as the eye can see. No one I dated in high school there.
I want to be able to flirt without the repercussions.
I like the image of Joe going town to town, clocking how many gays are there, and being like, no, not enough. Can't move here.
Well, you know where he can't move?
Where?
New Jersey.
Why is that?
He's too famous.
Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. This could be tough. I am not shitting you. Joe is having the conversation that he might be too famous in New Jersey to move there. Now, meanwhile, he lives in New York, if you got confused through this process. But
I feel like I'm a famous comedian when I'm down there, because a lot of people, wherever I go, come up to me and go, I follow you. It's not like I've seen you on when America's Got Talent was on, I got that a lot. Like for 2 straight years, if I was down there.
2 straight years? Wow.
He hadn't moved there.
Matarese mania. Joe walking out of some fucking Italian deli. Girls are running down the street. Ah!
Yeah, his Italian sub has panties in it.
Just porcelain and Red Bar chasing after him.
Young people, like kids, like 4th graders would come up and recognize me from America's Got Talent because they love that show.
Mr. Matarese?
Yeah.
Mr. Matarese, can you come down here to my level, please? Joe leans down. He's like, you fucked the girl from high school, didn't you? He's like, I did, kid. I did. I knew I believed in you, Joe.
How many times at their dinner did he bring up the fact that he didn't have sex?
Talking to his wife, you mean?
No. Talking to the ex.
Oh, I see. It's crazy. I had sex before you, but never with you. Isn't that nuts? Could you imagine what that would be like?
Lisa, aren't you just a little bit curious?
It's a shame. I guess we'll never just know what that's like because I'm married and you're. Well, it seems like you're not. But I like the idea of a kid, just a little kid, bright-eyed and bushy, whole world ahead of him. And he's like, "Mama, that can't be. That man looks an awful lot like Joe Matarese that we saw on the TV." And she goes, "Honey, I think that is Joe Matarese. Do you want to go talk to him?" And he's like, "I'm a little scared." What if he's not as amazing as he is on the television?
It's something they might have to deal with.
Fourth graders are clamoring for Joe Matarese. Joe's signing babies.
My son did bring him up the other day. I got to be honest.
I can imagine.
Constantly they would come up. But even when I went to dinner with the high school girlfriend after the show Friday night, again. Someone came up and said, "I recognize you. I'm a big fan." Blah, 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 blah. So,
hey, can't you see I'm having dinner here? He slips the guy $5.
Yeah. the guy goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Matarese," and he's like, "No."
This is probably another one of his buddies that's like, "Hey, listen, I got some old trim coming in from." Can you pretend you recognize me? Excuse me, sir.
He takes his guarantee and gives it to people to do that while he's eating dinner.
Excuse me, I'm trying to have dinner with a nice lady here. Please. It's like that great Rickles story about he made Sinatra come up to him to look better with a girl.
Yeah.
Frank, can't you see I'm eating here?
Which is one of the best stories ever.
It really is.
Until it's every 5 minutes. So you gotta and yes, you bump into the people from high school. I think I look different enough where they don't recognize me from that's 40 years. Well, it's more than 40 years ago. That's 43 years ago.
You just said the lady you dated in high school looks exactly the same.
But Joe's trying to be a little humble. He's like, I've aged, but still, I can't escape these people. They're just hungry for more Matarese.
So I don't look.
Joe's like Johnny Manziel trying to go out in Vegas. He's got a blonde wig and sunglasses on.
Not going to come up unless they just happen to follow me now. That's what's going to happen. So yeah, I might get some weird stalkers. Yeah, that's a great point.
You know what? That's a great point.
That was one of fucking the producers.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He said, He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I should have included that. That was the producer's point. Remember, I called him an enabler earlier."
He said, "You're gonna have stalkers."
Yeah. He's like, he honestly goes, "My fear, Joe, is you might be too famous to move back to that area. People are going to want your attention nonstop."
What bill of goods did Matarese sell this producer on?
I don't know that I would speak to Craig again, because if he honestly told me, if he's like, "Hey, when you move to Western Mass, I think you're going to be too famous out there. People are going to remember you. They're going to be hounding you." I'd be like, "All right, dickhead, just say you don't respect what I do." you cunt.
We got some more cons.
Jersey is swarming with Matarese heads, but that's not big enough. Let's hear some more cons.
About that. What did he say? Taxes, potholes. What else did he say?
Hold on, I love this list.
Traffic.
This is such a unique list. This is not everywhere you go in America.
No, definitely not.
Every city. Well, what are the cons of Philly? Traffic, potholes. That's much different than living in New York City. None of that exists there.
What did he say? Taxes, potholes. What else did he say?
He said everything. Traffic.
The traffic's horrendous up here. But you know what? That's my number one scare of Philly. is, like I said, especially if you wanted to live in that really nice mainline area
How
that I
about
do love.
it would shatter your wife's entire life. How about everything that your wife has built with your family over the last 20 years? And he keeps saying, it's my wife's family. It's you have kids, asshole. It's your family.
Yikes. The fights they must get on like a weekly basis.
It's gotta be exhausting to live with this guy. Or maybe at this point she's just like, yeah, maybe we'll move to Philly in 4 years, Joe, and just like placates him.
He's like, yeah, I just want you to know I went out to dinner with a ex of mine from high school, and she's like, oh, I did the same thing.
So Joe is there. I did the same thing. Hey, Joe, don't worry about it. It's not worse than whatever I did. But Joe is like, yeah, my wife would be unhappy. She'd be further away from work. She's made it clear she likes living near her family and friends, and she's really built a life and a community out here. My kids have made it clear that they really wouldn't want to visit us if they moved to Philly. They have no reason to go. All their friends are up here where we live, and that would be inconvenient for them too. In the Venn diagram, put those in the middle. I'm not sure if those are pro or con yet. The cons, put traffic, potholes, and I might be too famous.
Steve Holm in the comments with something I don't think we've talked about yet,
Please.
which is a possibility, is he says she is going to empty nest eject him.
I'm holding out hope for Joe.
I am too, but that would make sense.
It's not an impossibility. Yeah, no, go to Philly. Bye-bye.
You can go then.
Yeah, see you later.
Why do you want me to look at one-bedroom apartments?
But that's crazy to me to be like, send cons. It's like, you know the cons, Joe.
They're pretty obvious.
In Philadelphia, that's the suburbs. It's about 15, 20 minutes outside of it. Beautiful. The traffic on the Schuylkill Expressway is worse than anything else except for Los Angeles on the 405.
Yeah, I mean, my wife would be miserable, but that's a wash. We don't really know if that's a pro or a con yet. Not gay enough and traffic are the two biggest things keeping this guy out of Philadelphia.
I like watercolor pastel paintings.
That was Bill, right? You
Not
said
gay
Bill.
enough is easily my favorite con.
That's unbelievable.
Not gay enough.
And he's not saying this to be funny.
No.
Which makes it, honestly, if you were saying it to be funny, it'd be pretty funny.
Sure.
But this is just maddening.
That's why I love watching Joe's show. It riles me up in a way. It's a fun getting mad. It's not like Maron earlier or the stuff with Nate.
Yeah, I don't get mad at Joe and be like, I hate him as a person. I'm like,
No,
Joe, what are you doing? We're trying to help.
It's Joe. It's just watching this misguided goofball, and you're like, Joe, please listen to my advice.
South Philly?
Yep.
I love
Used to
that.
be from South
He's
Philly.
called before. Thank you for calling, Bill. My other con would be I feel like people are too into money.
Oh my!
That's what you get when you don't get
Not
those.
like the city that contains Wall Street.
Yes. You into money? Wow. I would have never in a million years guessed his con list.
Here's what he's doing. This might actually be very calculated. He's creating a list of cons. This could be genius if my theory is right here. Joe is compiling a long list of cons. It's traffic, potholes, not gay enough.
The people are too nice.
Too into money. And Joe's too famous there. Those are the cons we've heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to present that list of cons to his wife. And she's going to be like, try that. I mean, there's traffic in New York. Potholes. Look at it. All over the place. Potholes. Not gay enough. New York is a melting pot of America. There are plenty of gay people here. I mean, too famous. Come on. Really, Joe? And he's going to go, okay, I guess we should move there then.
Your second point, I went, oh, this is brilliant.
could be really brilliant. Where he presents her a long list of ridiculous cons and is then like, hey, he's like, honey, I thought about it. We shouldn't move to Philly. Look at this list. These are all the reasons why. I don't agree with any of these. Like, oh, I get. Oh, all right. Well, then here's Zillow. I found a nice place above a jazz cafe.
She'll be like, you know what? I actually love this place. He's like, good. I was playing it on the podcast and everyone agreed. all those psychos that came after me for the last decade know exactly where we're going to live.
Yeah, no. None of them. Just my ex-girlfriend and Uncle Marco.
Yeah. They're concentrated fans.
I like artsy people that aren't, those people. I don't know if you're one of those. I have a friend who does what you do, is like editor guy, but he's more of a DP. My friend Andres, who shot my web series Fixing Joe.
DP is what Joe is looking for in the city he moves to.
Yeah, with his ex-girlfriend and husband.
Series. He doesn't care about money whatsoever. He just goes to the project that's creatively interesting to him. Makes a lot
Joe's
of
going to move to Philly with a fedora and hipster glasses and a scarf on. They threw fucking batteries at Santa Claus. I don't know where the fuck you think you're moving.
He's really cool ones, and he's all about that. Like, those are the people I like to be around. That I don't like being around what's really like oil and water for me? Day traders, like those kind of guys. That are.
He moved to New York. I keep falling into it. Damn it. He's got me. I don't think he's going to trick this wife of his, but he might.
This is brilliant.
I'm like, these are cons for Philly, Joe. You live in New York. Well, fuck. He got me.
What do you call those? Financial guys?
Yeah.
What do you call them? Stockbrokers. Yeah, like those guys that we never hit it off. I don't think I've ever had a close friend who did that for a living. I hate to say it, but they're usually not on the artsy side of things. They are about fuck. They fuck people for a living, isn't it?
I wish I could do a French accent for this bit. I can't. But I just like the idea of someone smoking like a long cigarette at an art house. And they're like, Joseph, I like the bit you do about how the 80s are different.
He's like, I got to move here. But those were some cons.
Yeah.
Let's get into the major ones.
Oh, these are major cons.
Major cons.
Oh, okay. All right. That was child's play. All right. He was just warming up. Good.
Okay, so your kid's complaining about coming to visit you.
Yeah, that's on my list. That's at my bottom. That's a huge one. Is that there's no way I'm going to be able to live down there because all my wife's friends live up here. All my wife's
what is the podcast?
Holy fuck! My kids will hate my guts. I'm still going.
What is the podcast, Joe?
Man.
My entire family won't like it. And by the way, he's like, that's at the bottom of my list.
I'm going to be able to live down there because all my wife's friends live up here. All my wife's family lives up here. All my kids' friends live up here, and they're not going to want to. Why would they want us to be down there? They would hate it.
They either hate it.
I'd have, the only way I'd probably be able to live down in Philly is if my second house was there and not Florida. That's my summer house in Rittenhouse Square.
All right, honey, let's make a deal. Buy another house for me in Philadelphia.
This fucker is trying to wreck shit. They got a summer house in Florida.
I didn't even register that part.
He's got it made.
He does. He certainly does.
Why throw any fucking shit in that ointment or whatever the fuck the saying is?
I can't imagine it's that, but
it's not.
Why it's the ointment?
Why the ointment?
But this must be a guy who's trying to tank his marriage, right?
It's what it sounds like. And I don't think he's trying to, but like he needs to realize, and this fucking idiot producer needs to be like, yo, you're going to send this lady running.
It sounds like he thinks he never should have gotten married. Like he's miserable in his life because he's like, I don't have any friends around me. It's all her friends. You haven't made friends with anyone that's near you.
Yeah.
You've lived there for 20 years, Joe.
I know.
Actually, more than that. He's been in New York for some time. You
As
don't have any
long as
friends-
he's
you don't
been
have
in
any
the
friends-
public eye.
You don't have any friends in comedy? Like, what is this?
Well, he kind of burned those bridges. He did.
I guess, yeah.
And he was like, "You guys all suck. You couldn't date a doctor."
I know.
And that's kind of when everyone was like, "This guy sucks."
Yeah.
Next we have emotionally full.
Oh. Okay. All right. This is going to be where he explains I'm emotionally full. Like, I may not have friends around or whatever, but seeing that I've provided for a family where my wife is so contented, we have a home together, we have equity in that home. Her family lives nearby. My kids, they obviously don't want to move. I've given them a good life. They've grown up and they don't want to live the place where we nurtured them. That must make Joe emotionally full and make him realizing that, right? Let's. I know I explained it pretty well, but just for posterity, let's hear it.
If I'm in the Philly area, that's where I get that feeling when I'm performing on stage. I don't it's a different feeling because we're all, it feels like we're all one when I'm doing the shows. So I want to be down there so I don't have to leave from here to go to my shows. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's fine. You just keep going back. You keep going down. You keep going down. You keep going down.
2-hour train ride, dickhead. You're not fucking Lewis and Clark.
Like, you want that?
There are people, by the way, that commute from New York to Philly for work every day.
Right.
Not once in a while when their job starts at 8 p.m.
Sometimes way later.
Take the train down at 2, have a fucking cheesesteak, and make a day of it.
I'd have a cheesesteak, but don't you fucking see him setting up here?
Do your shows down there, and you don't need to live down there, and you don't torture your wife. But I don't know. I just
that
think
just seems unfeasible.
I think he's listening.
He's like, listen, there is a world where I don't move down there and I don't torture my wife, but that just seems like the lesser option.
It's either make her move there or be grateful for everything she's given me.
And listen, if Joe, I always have to preface this. There's a comedian named Bob Marley who's big in Maine. I say that because if I don't, you're going to think I'm thinking of someone else.
Yes.
But there's a comedian, Bob Marley, who is a massive, like plays arenas in Maine. He's the king of Maine. If he lived in Rhode Island and said to his wife, I know your family's here, your kids were raised here. We got to move to Maine. I'm an arena. I'm sick of the fucking drive. That's just where the money is. I get that conversation. Joe is saying to his family, man, those 75 seaters where I set up the equipment outside Philadelphia, that's where I'm most emotionally full. Not here with you guys. This is where I'm emotionally drained.
a lot better for my career if I was always down there, and all the social media that I'd be making if I was just living down there and observing everything that's about that area. I can't do it from here. And I can't make drives for 3 hours to make videos. Like it's really.
What's stopping you, Joe?
Well, what's stopping you? That's called hustle. It's called ambition. What's stopping you? But also, you can make videos about Philadelphia. No one knows where the fuck you're standing. You know what I mean? Like, you can make videos about, you can do Philly history, you can do news in Philly, you can do Philly sports from anywhere in the world, quite frankly. That's the advantage of living where we do. You know, I take that back. Some places you wouldn't have great internet. Other than those, you could make a video about fucking Philadelphia.
Mike, we got worth the risk.
Hey, listen. Is it worth it? We've heard the cons. My wife will be miserable. My kids will hate me, blah, blah, blah. The potholes, the traffic, those are the main things. Is it worth the risk?
This car's suspension.
It's like because you're connected to people a lot in the city because you're all on top of each other. So you have conversation. You're never just in your house alone for hours upon hours, depressed. When you got to go out and you got to go get something to eat, you're always mingling. You're always and it keeps you alive. But the negative of that is you bump into somebody the wrong way, they might stab you in the chest. It's just the way it is. So it's like what is more important to you?
Can I hear that again, please?
Joe Adam Metcalf.
the whole you feel validated emotionally when you play one of these shows, and then you might walk outside and get stabbed in the chest. Which one of those is better? I can't decide. Joe, the level of things you need us to help you decide, we've maxed out now.
Yes.
If you can't decide which is better, living or not living, then you've got there's a barrel of monkeys I can't really deal with here.
Yeah.
And then you try to keep that to a minimum by living in one of the nicer, more expensive parts of Philadelphia. You're not going to go live in the most rundown, poorest place. Like I have friends that have done that because they know that neighborhood's going to turn around and then they wait. I have a friend who bought a brownstone in Brooklyn 25 years ago and gunshots every night when he first lived there. And you just hear them. I mean, can you live like that?
Hold on a second. Joe, let me just put this in perspective for you. In 25 years, you will be 83. Now, we've bumped that up because you're not moving for another 4 years. You'll be 87. Is it worth it? No. It is not worth it to move to the ghetto and wait it out.
You make your doctor wife sit there.
Live like that and get through it and wait it out. And he did. And he raised his daughter there and they did it. And they love it.
Okay.
That's what your kids are adults. It's a completely different situation. It's worth the risk. Sure, I might walk out of my house and get stabbed, but I feel emotionally full. Joe, please, we're trying. We're trying to think the best of you here. We're trying to help. Listen to us. Listen to our guidance.
Last clip here. Signing off.
Oh. Forgot about this.
Yeah, I didn't put it on the screen because I didn't know if it needed an intro.
I think this is the new... Do we add this entire song to the outro of our...
Maybe.
Well, let's listen and you decide.
This will be the end of the episode, everybody. Thanks for listening to another Road Back to Philly, everybody.
Road back to Philly, I haven't lived there in a while. Road back to Philly, things that are just my style. On the road back to Philly, I think we're up on the change.
I want a montage of this, of Joe. Hey, I could probably do this. Joe embarking, walking to Philly. The sun's rising. It's hitting Joe's face. Fresh start. It cut to his wife miserably packing her bags.
And it cuts to him going around a corner and getting stabbed in the intestine.
With a smile on his face. At least it was in Philly. Oh, I can make a good TikTok from this.
I died where I wanted to die.
That's the other thing, by the way. Like that guy Fitzy here in Boston. That's what ultimately his goal is, to be Fitzy.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about here.
He would love that.
And he wants the equivalent, whatever the Philly equivalent of being the social media guy that goes, the Pats a fucking wicked pisser this year. Like that's what Joe wants to be. And he thinks he needs to be standing on Philadelphia's soil in order to make those videos.
Back to Philly, my jokes there, they don't seem strange. So grab a soft pretzel, cheesesteak or a hoagie on the road back to Philly.
Beautiful stuff.
It's a water tour. It's a water tour.
Oh, Jerry.
An accompaniment from Joe Matarese, ladies and gentlemen.
That was terrible.
Dude, I love Jerry
So
Rowan.
cool.
That's so cool. Give us the rest of the song for the next episode, Jerry. Thing, everybody. So,
It's an outro. It's not a fucking concert.
There's another verse. Unless that other verse is his wife hates it and his kid won't speak to him.
He's gonna go to Philly and die alone.
Road back to Philly will destroy his bank account.
But he'll make up for it in alimony.
Who cares what his wife thinks, but the traffic can be rough. His kids might hate him, but is it gay enough?
Casey needs to make a song now.
We've given you some of the lyrics, Casey. I'm sure you can come up with others.
That's funny.
All right. Is that it for old Joe?
Yes, it is.
Well, I hope he vanquishes his demons. And I'm going to keep... He didn't do an episode last week, by the way. So it's good that he's kept it consistent.
It's on hold.
But I'm going to keep an eye on Road Back to Philly. And it might be something we talk about a lot. And you're just going to see me lose my mind along with Joe.
Yes.
But I think that'll be fun.
I'll be right there with you because I'm just like, I want you to do what you want to do. I want you to be successful. This is going to fuck you in every direction.
Tiramisu on the menu.
It's on the menu right now.
Verygoodshow.org. Very good chow. Well, what else is coming up there?
I think a scallop and pancetta leek salad will be next. Got a lot of people being like, this is too heavy for summer, and I'm like, it's not a weekly show that you just have to watch. You can watch whenever, sir.
You calling them scallops does ruffle my feathers a little bit.
Scallop sounds fucking weird to say, so you can never do it.
What are you, one of those gays that Joe wants to live around?
Yeah, he's moving in next door.
You've got more culture than me, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
We'll go support Craig. Check it. Yes, and watch those videos anytime you want to make a very heavy dish. Yes, check that out. blindmike.net. Support this program. We appreciate you guys doing that. Wherever you get podcasts, YouTube,
Studios.com.
A little unnecessary. What is this now? Interrupting?
Yeah.
Interrupting my plugs.
blindmike.net is nice and all.
To say Hackride Studio, I don't care for this relationship.
But have you been to HackRideStudios.com?
I don't care for this teamwork. That's clearly a Casey order. You put him up to you put him up to that, didn't you?
I did not.
Yeah, all right, fine. Fuck me and HackRideStudios.com. Go there. Support the people that support this show. We appreciate both Craig and Casey putting a bit of elbow grease into the old program. So thank you guys for that. This is available for members early this week. It's a rare treat for members. So if you like stuff like that, consider becoming a member on YouTube or Patreon. Patreon, you get more stuff. Like if put it this way, the Carlos Mencia thing we do, whenever that is, definitely won't get taken down on Patreon. It might on YouTube,
Yeah, for sure.
So think of it that way. But, consider subscribing to both or either, I mean. But thank you. Whatever. I'm mumbling. Goodbye.
And we have a mean transition.
Hey, it's Boogie. Sappers through the way, everyone likes it.
Now, this is a very interesting tip. Now, really, ladies, if you're listening, and men, and everybody in between.
If I tell you you've got a homicide, buddy, you've got a homicide.
I hope to hear from you soon. I am proud to own the Trumpy Bear, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Put it in the outro.
Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always,
there's no cum on my mic.
rock on.
Stop the baloney, huh? What kind of statement is that?
I wrote it. One of my favorite players to cover when he was here was Mike Vrabel. Tell me Mike Vrabel's story. Whatever, dude. I keep it cool at the gym.
Piss on him.
Stop! My belly hurts.
My dad was in the military.
Was that, sir?
Can you please kindly F off, please? If a person is on a bridge threatening to jump, how do we know that he wants help?
Okay, I hope nothing bad happened.
Money, 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 money. Fuck, please.
Anyway, God bless America.
Put it in the outro.